Madness Podcast, the best of the underground. Big Madness, your ritual.
Hey, Ritual Madness Podcast, episode 153, I believe. Today is shit. I am about an hour late, running late. These guys were here on time, and I appreciate that very much. Unfortunately, I was here 2 hours early, and my computer froze and crashed. The station was down for whoever knows how fucking long. But we are here. It is Friday evening. You know what time it is. It's Ritual Madness Podcast time. Like I said, this is episode 153, I believe. Sitting here with the guys from GhostHook and friends. Do me a favor, check out ritualmadnesspodcast.com. On the right side, there's a multitude of links you can connect with us on: iTunes, Stitcher, both applications for your space phones, social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. I've actually kind of caught up on some of my YouTube backwardsness. I told everybody I calculated about 20 episodes I was behind on videos.
You keep mixing it up with RedTube.
No, here's the thing is you know, you seen how proficient I am with this shitty computer situation here. So I get everything all set up and realize that I put no sound on some of these videos. So I'm 20 videos back.
Living that drone life.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Michelle
Right?
had
Exactly.
a similar Skype experience with audio problems.
Yeah,
for
just
one of her
ridiculous.
classes.
So that has been my issue, and I've been trying to catch up on the YouTube videos. I've been getting really good feedback. Different people from outside the scene actually checking the videos out, which is really cool and kind of a drag because the ones that didn't have video, which I found, or audio, I found 2 so far out of the 20. So I'm on my way to getting everything up to date right now. Do me a favor, listen to my radio app. That's LISTN, the number 2. Search Ritual Madness Podcast in there, and you can listen to the station. We've got a ton of different stuff on here, including the GhostHook guys here. If you shop Amazon, fucking click the Amazon link on my page there. Bookmark it as your own every time you buy something off of Amazon. It feeds us some cash when you get done. It costs nothing for you guys, but helps us out. And if you're in a band or have friends in bands, ritualmadnesspodcast@gmail.com. I'm going to keep that kind of short and sweet. Going to get to these guys. How the fuck are you guys after waiting forever? We had to reschedule because I needed a bacchiotomy.
Yep.
And then he fucked my mama, man. And then, we set this up and you guys get here and jinx the whole thing.
Yes.
And then there were many cigarettes, a few joints, and
it's our green magic. I think the first time we broke your back, and this time we broke your computer.
Right.
THC, we told you so.
Alex was like, man, I rolled like 7 joints or something, didn't he? Or was it 9 joints?
It was
probably chair 9. Legs.
It was probably
Chair
9.
legs.
Yeah.
And they're not joints. They're small hog legs.
Right.
I mean,
No one preps for a show quite like Alex in terms of smoking apparel.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah, it is a luxury of being in this band that we all quite appreciate.
all of a sudden, the white flashlight comes out, and you look at that, and it's like, what the hell is going on?
Right? Just seeing spots and shit.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Why don't we go around the table and tell us who you guys are, who all made it here today, and all that other good stuff, so everybody knows who we're whose voice is what.
This is Wes. I play bass.
I'm Lucas. I play guitar. Jessie is here too. She does merch and is a very
You
cool
probably
lady.
can't hear that fine sip of delicious tall grass vanilla bean buffalo sweat. She just took a nice swig there.
She's actually playing the part of Larry tonight. So if she
Jessie
chimes
Larry
in,
tonight.
she's got her arms crossed and she's only talking about video games and throwing bricks at people's faces
And other things that suck.
Yeah, and things that suck. And dude, you got to get Titanfall. And
Yep, it is Titanfall 2. He's just, God damn it!
yeah,
We were supposed to play Battlefield 1 online, and he sold it to get Titanfall 2.
Dude, I just got Battlefield 1 because you guys were like,
Yeah.
get Battlefield
And
1.
then he sold it.
And then this last practice, like, that game blows. Fuck that game.
I kept
And you
getting
get
killed every
Titanfall.
2 seconds.
right. So what's up, dude?
Hey, guys.
Tell me who you are.
Yeah, Nick's here too.
I still got that new fresh band member smell. And Nick Kulzicki, probably are familiar with
A few of your bands.
Actually, the 3 of us actually go back a long time.
Yeah, Anal Blast days,
Very
man.
long
Yeah,
time.
very much so. Very much so.
So many Anal Blast stories were popping up before we even went on air, and Michelle looks over and goes, "No, you're
You wasted
wasting
it all.
Yeah.
You wasted it all.
blowing our chode.
We've got way too much.
Yeah, absolutely. So GhostHook has kind of done quite a bit of a transformation since the what, 3 years ago since they were on?
It's a whole new band.
Yeah, like we said when we got here, it's kind of funny. There's no original GhostHook members here right now.
Right,
Well,
Alex and Larry.
Other than Larry over here played by Jess.
Yeah.
Brick to your face. Fuck you. I'm the Pocket Hulk.
God damn it! I forgot to call Guitar Center.
Fuck Guitar Center.
Right, absolutely. So,
Splash cymbals are
you guys actually released a CD since the last time you were here as well, right?
Yeah, we released the first full length. Forget what it was called.
I don't think any of us actually know what any of the
Casual
songs
Thoughts
are
of
called.
Homicide.
Casual Thoughts of Homicide. Yes.
Google it, Larry.
And that was pretty much kind of the old lineup, and now, I mean, we've changed 2 guitar players. You know.
Yep,
and
Nick
then-
left and then Steve left too, right?
Yep.
No,
yeah.
no, you're related to Nick too, right?
Yeah, he's my stepbrother.
Right.
Or ex-stepbrother.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. So that was kind of weird. It was
Because
actually
he came in and really filled it up with a second guitar player.
yeah,
And did really well.
He did really well. I really liked it, and I started jamming with him when Brett moved to Texas.
Right.
So I started jamming with him, and it ended up working out really well. And then
after Nick left, they were like, "Who is the biggest asshole we can possibly?"
Shane doesn't
find?
play guitar.
Yeah, and Shane doesn't play
That's
guitar.
Well, I
So
mean, in
they're
a
like,
band
Lucas.
Yeah,
He's an asshole.
Then they were like, Lucas, yeah, and he smokes a shit ton of weed.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
works.
Fits
That was the
right
other
in.
thing.
Yeah, you pretty
Nick,
much
Nick
fucking-
didn't smoke weed, so that was a problem that we had at
you
every
guys.
practice.
And
yes.
he's not an asshole, you know.
That's true.
Yeah, he's a
You're
sweetheart.
awfully nice, other Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I
Different.
don't know where the
Nick.
hell you get off being nice, Nick.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you got Lucas, and then Nick. How did you get involved?
Well, it
was kind of surprised because you weren't jamming, or I mean, you were.
I had
obviously
taken a
playing.
break for a while. I had been actually trying to get a project together a few years ago with Nick Donner from Mordrot, Brian Hubner from Mordrot, and Pat Ruland, who was an ambassador gun Australis.
Right.
And we were jamming for a while, and we were trying to come up with stuff, and then it just got to the point where we were practicing over by where Lee's Liquor Lounge was,
Yeah.
over by the Salvation Army over
Sure.
there, and we just weren't clicking, and all those guys had other projects that were taking precedence. So we just kind of stopped for a while, and all of a sudden Steve was leaving GhostHook, and we've all been friends in GhostHook for a long time, so.
Right.
It just for me, it just felt like the right band at the right time, and it was just kind of fell in my lap as like the perfect opportunity to get to jam with people that I've been in bands with before, and Alex and Larry, who I haven't been in bands with before.
Right.
So it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun getting to learn this material, and we're getting ready to record our next our EP, the Defense EP, which is based mostly on the 1993 Joel Schumacher film Falling Down, and we're hoping we're going to get pre-production going on that going.
We're probably gonna do an EP and an album at the same time.
Yeah,
we
we-
got enough material.
You're gonna double it up, huh?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
he's writing a ton of new stuff too.
Not good, Nick.
The bad.
Bad Nick's
yes.
writing,
He's the good
writing
Nick.
songs.
You're the bad Nick.
snorting stuff I shouldn't be.
Yeah, that's it.
Michelle, you farting over there?
No,
Oh.
I'm
Oh wait, you guys are married, so he has to smell that anyways. Here, just let him have it.
I know
Just
her
fucking
stink.
Dust,
It's,
dust him out.
I can name that smell.
I claim my own, but that was a
What made Steve leave? I don't want to if it's under.
Oh
bad
no,
terms
it
or
was like a mental breakdown.
Yeah,
or
the most
something.
diplomatic way to put it is that he had to take care of himself and had to walk away, take a step away from the
But
band to do
you
that.
know, he's been talking about quitting for a while,
right.
and that was kind of like that's kind of how Nick left the band.
Yeah.
Good Nick.
Yeah.
That's how Good Nick left the band.
Nice Nick.
Was that so Steve's been talking about leaving it up for a while, and then he just went up and just quit and went rogue, and so we had no other choice, and so we got Nick in. And at the time, Lucas was telling me he was talking to Nick at shows and how Nick was really wanting to start playing music again,
Right.
And we had already kind of noticed that Steve was kind of drifting off a bit anyway.
Sure.
So,
And you wrote a lot of great material. I love playing it.
He's
It's
a
lot of
fucking.
fun.
He's an amazing
Yeah.
guitar player. Absolutely.
I mean, he's close to genius level as far as just mechanics as a player goes.
Yep.
Like all of the material that he was writing was pretty like. It's brutal and intricate at the same time, which is right up my alley. And
very
it was a
unique,
big,
too.
And sometimes very, very silly in its simplicity, but also, I mean, and that's kind of, I mean, me and Nick have a lot of experience writing together, and we're really comfortable in West too. It's
Right.
So, and we're all with the new material. We're definitely kind of keeping it in the same 10 pounds of shit in a 9-pound bag.
Sure.
Right.
Now, I mean,
Yeah.
with you guys being that you jammed so long ago, does it feel like you guys are starting to hash it, like start to gel real well together? Again?
when I started learning the material with Lucas, I could tell right away. Like the first day we started working on the stuff, it wasn't taking me very long to learn the material, and that stuff was coming out of us just messing around in between learning songs, where I'm like, this is going to come along very quickly, and it really has come together really quickly. I've played 3 shows now with the band, and we played in Sheboygan with Morbid Saint. Those guys are awesome. Check those guys out if you haven't or familiar
Old school.
with old school Morbid Saint.
Yeah.
yeah, very good.
yeah.
Spectrum of Death.
So I already got first question on the text line here. I'm supposed to ask Wes what your favorite Megadeth album is.
Risk. It's Risk.
No. It's not Risk. It's Euthanasia, of course. It's the best one by far. Euthanasia.
I'm supposed to ask Lucas, would he rather have chest hair pube sex with David Vincent's chest pubes or floss with Tim Young's straight pubic
is this
hair?
from?
Honest question.
I think I know who this is from.
Yep.
Yeah, this is Craig.
Go Seahawks, man.
Turbo.
Can I make
Turbo lover!
David Vincent floss with someone else's pubes?
Hey,
Is
yep.
that an option? You might already. I don't know.
Absolutely, man. Fucking
Might be going on backstage at a Genitorture show. You never know.
You never know.
probably. I wouldn't doubt it.
You got Prince Albert in a can.
Yep.
God damn it, Chuck Streamers.
Oh, that's fucking great, man. Well, it's crazy that just to see you guys all jamming together, because I've seen you all in different bands. I've seen Wes has been a mainstay. Lucas, you've been around. I mean, you guys have all been around for a long time, but seeing you guys all together again in a band, it's fucking.
And that's
it's
part,
crazy
that's part of the fun
memories.
of the journey. Is like
It's very cool.
It's like things coming full circle. We spend all these times jamming with all these different people, and all of a sudden, you're in the right group, and everything locks in, and it makes going to practice a lot of fun, makes writing a lot of fun, it makes doing the work fun. And I think that's an ultimate reward of being in a band like this. Is like we all enjoy doing it and putting work into it.
Right. Yeah.
And we all practice on our own time. I mean, and the cool thing is with some of the new material, especially the new one that Nick's writing, there's like, it's getting above 300 beats per minute, right? We're cooking right along.
And I think I'm writing slow and bad as a badnik should.
Yeah.
Now, how's Larry doing with the changeovers as well? Is he becoming acclimated to everything?
He's a trooper.
He's exploring the space. He's exploring the space.
Yes.
He hasn't gotten us to sidewash or amplifiers yet.
Yeah. Well, it's I'm pretty sure it's an equal opportunity hatred for any fucking new guy that's going to be coming in. So
Right. You have to have a bit of a thick skin in order to be in this band to tolerate, Larryness.
yeah.
right.
There's that.
The Larryisms.
Yes.
And the cool thing is none of us like sucking, so none of us have to deal with that.
That's
It's-
very true.
None of us have to turn and like, hey, you need to stop sucking because none of us are sucking.
And it's just the right ambiance being in a band with Larry. It creates that right sort of grittiness that we need to convey our herbal brutalness.
Yeah. And the cool thing about it is like a lot of the drum lines have a lot to do with how driving a lot of the GhostHook stuff is, because you can take a very melodic guitar line or something like that, something where you can put something kind of chilled out behind it, but you put a Larry, driving drum line behind it, and all of a sudden it's punching you right in the dick.
Yeah,
right?
it's like a train.
Yeah.
It's just going.
Kangaroo kick to the cervix.
The fucking the leaps and bounds that Larry has really come from starting this band. You know, it just being, you know, we were kind of talking off the air outside about the nervousness that Larry has had forever. You know, and it goes with all of us. We all
have anxiety to a certain extent. You know,
I agree. You know, I mean, we've all been doing this a really long fucking time, and I think if it's normal for you to have those, you know, the beginning jitters. But I remember him being so like just fucking wanting to hide behind that kid in the very beginning. You know, and you can tell with his playing that that after a while, in the beginning, he was like kind of unsure of himself, and he seems more solidified and sure of himself now. And just the last time I saw you guys at Club Underground, you guys were just fucking pounding it out.
It's finding comfortability on the instrument, you know, and I think that comes with time. You know, I think we're all like, you know, I've been doing this like almost half my life now, you know, and it's cool to reflect on like, okay, this is where I was back in Penagori in '99.
Right.
This is where my playing's at now. And I think we've all gone to different levels with our playing, with being with all the experience we've had in other projects. And I think Larry's getting to a spot where he's getting comfortable with what he's doing well, and I think that's pushing him to try to do other things. And like I can tell when I'm working on him with new material that, you know, he's trying to come up with different patterns and such. And it's a lot of fun to work with someone that's, you know, definitely trying to put time into their craft and is trying to be methodical about what they're playing.
Sure. I think that Larry, out of all of you guys, is probably the one who started the latest.
Well, he's a founder of the band.
Well, no, I mean, as far as playing his
time on instrument.
On instrument.
Well, when I was younger, I remember one of my first anal blast practices ever. I think it was even my second or third. Larry was actually there with a bass,
right?
And he wasn't playing drums then,
right?
So he was still trying to play an instrument. But
so that would have been 2000, 2001.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
that's like,
and you know, he eventually didn't stick with the bass. You know, he didn't enjoy it as much, but he kind of stick with the rhythm section. Yeah, he ended up being
probably realized that his hands were way too small. I'm just taking shots at you,
or that
Larry,
the bass is taller than him when he's standing up.
Oh, Titans fall, man, fucking badass.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, well, you know, we called him last time, and he talked for like two seconds, and then he was like, "Go fuck yourself. I don't want to be involved in this shit."
I'm surprised you got the first 2 seconds out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, let's get to some tunes since we got a late start.
Killer.
We'll do this. We got some Dust Spell Omega. Tell me who picked that one.
I think I put the set together.
Put it all together.
Sorry, I was talking into the mic there. Yeah, this is our initial February 3rd set that now we're playing on March 3rd.
Okay. yeah, that was.
But we're not going to get into dates.
All right. Well, then let me see here. We got Mithras.
Mithras.
Okay.
Mithras from the fine folks at Willow Tip Productions. Fine band from England. They sound like Domination era Morbid Angel if they were in outer space.
Okay, then we have what do we do? We got what was the fucking
Blood Red Throne, Patriotic Hatred?
Is that the
was
the one. Yep.
Yeah, that's that one's out. Sending that one out to Shane Patton. Big fan of Blood Red Throne.
Oh, I'm gonna have to take that one off of there just for that.
Sorry, Shane, I tried.
Benighted, is that what it is?
Yeah, for new album Necrobreed out on Season of Mist Productions. Killer band from France.
Awesome. Well, let's take a listen. Folks, stick around. We just getting started, so stick around. We got a lot of crazy stories and shit coming up here, so listen up, bitches. Yeah, look at that. I even made the save. You're listening to Ritual Madness Podcast, episode 150-something or other, 3, I believe it is, and all that other good stuff. Hanging out with the guys from GhostHook and their lady friends of the night, and
Alex and Larry.
Yes,
Alex and Larry.
Ladies of the night.
Yeah. I am Alex for this evening.
You're not talking enough about weed and
I could talk more about weed
and
if
butchering
you want me to.
things. You got to talk about butchering things as well.
Wait, butchering things with weed?
Yeah, yes,
And making bacon.
Yeah, making bacon with weed butter
and sausages.
and
Yes, and sausages.
Yes. And steaks. I just got a big thing of steaks
and sweaty balls.
Yep. Hell yeah! So we were talking a bit about some of the Anal Blast days, man. So I kind of want to ask, how did you guys all like get involved with Anal Blast back in the day? Like, what was the protocol of becoming a part of Anal Blast, Wes? How did you get involved with Anal Blast?
Well, I tried out on bass, I think 2 times back in the Inferno days. Lucas and Nick were in the band.
Already? You guys were already in the band?
Yep.
Probably.
I joined
Yeah.
the band in November of 1999.
And then I didn't get the gig.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just roadied for
It's
him
kind of cool because we all joined at
for
different
like 2
different
more years.
spots in the linear timeline of Anal Blast.
Right.
Yeah, I got into it because back when Don still had Nightfall, he had a difficult time holding lineups together. Go figure, right?
Why? Because he was such a sweetheart of a human being?
Oh
or-
man,
Such a sweetheart.
he's a
Sweet
walking
baby
Hallmark
angel.
card.
Sweet baby angel.
No, but essentially, I had just started Panagoria, and he would wind up, Don would do favors, like if you would help out his band, he'd help us out. So that was kind of how I got started, and then eventually I had done enough shows over a year and a half to a 2 year period. I'm just like, well, I should just stick around with the band, and I kind of hired myself. Was the running joke with Don.
Right.
But yeah, and that's how I got into it, and it's probably about 2 years after that Lucas started.
Yeah.
I think that Wes you had tried out probably around a
Yeah.
year or so
Yep.
after I had joined the band.
Probably.
Because we're all kind of around the same age, so it's kind of crazy that
Old as dick.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it's a relative. Oldest dick is a
Droopy
relative.
balls.
Yeah.
Droopy balls.
Yeah.
Dude, that's your wife telling you stories right there. Dude. It's like, that was the first thing out of her mouth. That
No,
wasn't
it
like...
tain't. It isn't.
Twasn't a twernt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of
Twatter.
came out of nowhere. I'd been going to like shows at Club TNT and shows at the Inferno for a while. And I started playing guitar when I was like 11, and I wanted to make sure I didn't suck before I joined a band.
Right.
And then
And you joined Anal Blast and it didn't matter?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, that's kind of how I ended up with one of my nicknames, McTuner Fingers, is I would go around and tune everyone's instruments for them because
Right.
I'd be like, well,
And
That's a
they would
guitar
never
tech.
stay in tune.
No, they wouldn't.
They
No.
would until anyone else would touch the instrument. It was
Yeah.
just like instant floppiness.
yeah, they wouldn't stop themselves from being grindcore. It was that simple.
Right,
It was like,
right.
you will never be in the same tuning. Fuck you.
Right.
Yeah, but so I just kind of showed up at Nightfall one day because I was like, well, this band seems to open up for all these cool, brutal acts, so I'll see what they need. And then I talked to Don for a while and was instantly impressed with how much of a shitty person he was and how drunk he was.
Well, it was great because I was with him prior to you getting there, and that was a whole ordeal of him like firing everyone from the band, shutting the band down, and then restarting the band once you showed up. So
Yeah.
thanks for showing up because otherwise, we might not have kept the band going at that point. But
Yeah, and then I showed up on a fucking bus with like a practice amp and a guitar and learned the set, and then I started playing.
Was it for real a bus?
Yeah, no, I showed up on a city
Yep,
bus.
yep.
Oh,
it
a
was
city bus.
Not like a cool tour bus.
No.
Like I arrived on an MTC
No.
fucking motor coach.
Hey guys, meet my crew.
Nothing that cool yet. No, I didn't have any working vehicle.
Stay off this bus, motherfucker!
Yeah, pretty much. No, I had tripped a few people with a guitar on the way, and it was not
Sick
cool.
contract writer, man.
But yeah, no, it was.
long hair, man. Hey, man, move that fucking guitar and shit, man.
Yeah, that person with the half-open eyes coming out of the city bus. He must be in our grindcore band. Yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah. So what albums were you guys all on? What
Vaginal Vampire came out right before I had joined the band. So when I joined the band, I had learned most of the material on that. And what's great about that is that, I think there's they had written maybe a few new songs on that weren't on the initial demo. And then once Vaginal Vampire came out, that came out in 97 or 98, I think. And so we played a bunch of shows for that. And then Don got to the point where he did his...
I love how you did that. Did you see how he did the Don?
Don.
So Don got
Don. Doing the Don voice.
the quick fucking. So Don got the that fucking.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone that tells a Don story does it in a Don voice.
Yeah, and then it ends with I'm fat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nick, I need material. I'm fat. I'm
Don, the great big
Floppy blaster.
wop guinea Italian.
Yeah.
I've got side project known as Anal Blast.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm fat.
And I like Autumn Tears and Stevie Nicks.
Right.
And bread.
Yeah, but
And bread.
Gordon Lightfoot all day.
Gordon
Lightfoot.
Lightfoot, dude.
Edmund Fitzgerald.
And you know what? Aaron Whiteside said a lot too, is when he would get to a certain area and knew there'd be bands hanging out in front of the place. He would always switch the music from what he was listening to something that he was like, "Oh, we got to roll up to this," you know. He'd have the windows open and fucking playing
that.
something heavy. That's
so many
hilarious.
times we'd show up to some ridiculous metal fest playing Elton John or some shit like that. You know,
in the
Jets.
dude, totally.
Walking in fucking.
Yeah. Walking in L.A.
No, walking
Walking
in
in
LA. That
LA.
full tour. It was Walking in LA by Missing Persons and
Oh, that was so bad.
Hatebreed Perseverance single.
Oh, I
For-
remember.
remember
I
that?
remember
I
Don.
remember that
I remember
too.
5
Don
days
passing out
straight.
Yeah.
drunk with Hatebreed on repeat. Hatebreed on
We just
repeat.
had
God
that
hates us
Walking in
all.
LA
Slayer on
conversation.
repeat.
Oh, man.
That's
No, the
hilarious.
day
dude.
I
he
learned to
left-
hate breed
The
from
day he
that.
left on tour when I was living upstairs.
Well, they're all about
Slayer
respect, so
on
they'd
for 5
appreciate
days
that.
straight.
Yeah.
Right.
We had to go.
That's crazy. So, question for you guys: what is the new diet fad? Anybody have a report for that?
Oh, it's-
What is the new diet fad?
Poor life choices.
Oh,
Poor
yeah.
life choices.
There's-
More
Yeah.
life choices.
Testicular torsion.
All right.
Apparently, Michael
How about
Jackson.
you? How about you, Lucas? What do you got?
Oh, the heart of a child. Yes.
I've got
My
queefing.
ex-wife.
Funky fresh rhymes.
Nice. That's the new diet fad.
I've got pulling out. I think
Anal beads.
that's a great.
There you go. That's a good one. That's
That
a
is
good one.
We could read all the cards, guys, or we could continue to let Greg ask us questions.
That was his question.
That was my question right
The heart of
there.
a child.
There's a lot of potential answers there.
Yeah, there's a ton, man. There's a ton. So we're going to just have random bullshit questions popping up left and right because Tards Against Humanity is in the house, and we definitely fit
Thanks,
that
Mary Kay.
category for that.
Turbo.
Yep. Turbo lovers listening.
My mom's listening to this. I'm getting written out of my will.
Thanks,
shit.
Mary Kay.
Yeah, there
You're
you
a
go.
gem for getting me this for my birthday.
Tards for Humanity. We all kind of resemble that remark in some fashion. Now with the new GhostHook stuff that's you guys are putting together, how is like I said, you guys have all jammed together before, so the gelling of it all must be slowly working its way to full potential, huh?
Yeah. I would say that between me and Lucas, we probably have between 3 to 4 songs each that we're working on right now. And what's great is that we don't get stymied with working too much on one thing. If that is the case, then we have other things we can work on. So I would say that it's been a real fun process writing these new riffs. There's definitely going to be a lot of contrast between what I'm doing on my stuff and what Lucas is doing on his stuff,
Similar but different.
and at the same token, Wes is capable of writing, Alex is capable of writing, Larry's capable of writing. Larry's written a GhostHook song before, so it's
written
cool
a
to
few.
be. It's cool to be in a band where everyone has the capability to write and contribute in that regard. Because I've been in a lot of projects where the primary songwriters are like one to 2 people. So to have everyone have a creative input into this is cool, and it makes the band a lot more fun because one member of the band might look at something one way and another might have a completely different perspective on it. So
Now, as guys that are all veterans of playing in heavy music, what do you guys think is the best part about exactly that, about having multiple inputs from each member? You know what I mean? Everybody has input.
Well, I mean, when it comes to a song, first off, you got a bunch of different riffs, a bunch of different ideas, but you're never going to look at when you're forming a piece of art like that, you're always going to have everyone like, oh, I like this arrangement. Oh, I like this arrangement. And there's never a bad idea, and the thing is, you might trip over your dick into something that's fucking awesome,
Right.
When you're working with someone, and something you would have never thought of before, even with your own riffs. So you can take your own riffs, show them to someone else, and then they'll be like, oh, well, I kind of hear that riff going into this other riff in my head that you're playing a lot later on, or some shit like that. So you get to sit there and fuck with each part of it and kind of bounce it off each other. And I mean, I don't want to sound like an elitist prick or anything, but having people that can play the shit
Yeah.
helps.
Right.
You know, I
For
mean,
sure.
not having to sit
You
there
don't
and
have
be
to
like,
keep showing it to the motherfucker.
well,
over
exactly.
and over.
It's like now that we're learning this
It's
riff.
not a struggle.
Yeah, now that you guys know how to play this riff shittily a month later, we can start working on this fucking song.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay, you can play it cool and start working on shit, and then you can take a riff and each one play it a different way, work on weird up down harmonies.
Now, how would you suggest to a younger musician that they achieve that goal of tapping into their own techniques and their own creativity and not being afraid to steamroller somebody's idea because or say, okay, I guess that was the wrong word, because you always want to have your input in a project or in a creative moment, but getting to what you're at right now, we're some veteran guys, a whole table of veteran guys in a band. Every one of you guys have been in amazing bands. You know what I'm saying? What would you suggest to someone who's just getting started to achieve that kind of goal?
Well,
don't limit yourself and communicate. I mean, but if there's one thing that frustrates me in projects is when people don't talk or communicate with one another about what they like and don't like.
Yeah, very
At
much
least
so.
when you show up to GhostHook practice, you're going to get honest communication from everyone in the band.
Right.
And essentially, that's a big part of it, and being comfortable with what you're doing and being able to speak to what you can do. Right?
Yeah, and you have to accept that communication too. I mean, it's like there's. The thing I found is there's no right way to write a song, but there's a lot of wrong ways, and
absolutely.
And sitting there saying, it has to be this way. I mean, you might have a grand vision, and that happens sometimes where someone can come and they got the whole song figured out right then and there. But the best stuff always gets written when you take an idea like that and chew on it for a little while. Let the band kind of process it. Everyone comes up with their new ideas. You play the song until you're sick of fucking playing it.
Right.
Yep.
And then when you fall in love with that song again, when you have all those little tricks and dynamics worked out, and
Nuances,
you let everybody add what they want to it, and you're open to that, that's when you get that full band. This is not just someone playing a song.
Right.
This is people coming together to create music.
Right.
And there's a different feel when you hear it. You can have a guy sitting there like, oh, I wrote this, 4-octave deep crazy bullshit where I play 80 different strings at the same fucking time, and it's like, well, man.
Yeah, that's all over
a
the
lot of
internet
strings.
right now.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, well, did you let the bassist just sit there and play 2 notes by himself for a while because he wanted to? Well, no. And it's like, well, it would have sounded really fucking cool if you did,
Yep.
Yeah. And give everybody a chance to get their voice heard. That's I think, Nick, you hit it from the very first couple words you spit out. Communication is the key for it all, because if you're afraid to communicate with the guys that you
gotta have that.
It's one thing to want to be in a band and to buy instruments and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on gear, but if you're not willing to put the time into your craft to learn what you want to get better at, then you're not going to be able to progress. And
You've also got to be open to criticism.
right, you have to have a thick
You
skin.
have to really be open for that, because no matter what, somebody's gonna, not like a part of it, and you're gonna have to just roll with it, and that's how it is.
Yeah. And you can either work on it, make it sound better, kind of maybe work on your idea until it becomes something bigger than what it was, and then the rest of the band's like, oh, okay, cool, I get where you're coming from with that now. Because there's been some ideas where, man, when you're cooking along as fast as we are, you got to practice it for a couple weeks so it doesn't sound like shit when you bring it to the rest of the band.
You got to play it good slow to play it good fast.
That's a big thing, is a lot of these guys are out there trying to
go as fast as they fucking can.
Yeah.
And
No.
put as many changes as they can in it without making it flavor.
Exactly. And the thing is, if you're doing that, you're just learning how to play it wrong. You're just learning how to play it wrong fast. If you learn how to play it right, perfectly, slowly,
sure,
and then slowly speed up, that's when you get them crazy finger movements, because it's just muscle memory at that point.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Another question for you. What did Vin Diesel eat for dinner?
Ooh, I got this one.
The heart of a child.
Dick fingers.
Dick fingers?
No. Vin Diesel, he had a micro pig wearing a tiny raincoat and booties.
Was that an appetizer or bacon?
It's fast and it's furious.
I got a stray pube.
That is very nutritious.
Pubes have been coming up quite a lot this evening.
I wonder if he got it from David Vincent's mouth.
Alters the pubness.
Yeah.
I have Sean
like
Connery. Vin Diesel had Sean Connery for dinner.
Connery.
That sounds like a lot of ashes.
Hot shingles.
I'll take the rapist for 500.
Yeah,
I'll take famous titties for
that's
600.
therapist.
I'll take the penis.
That's not what your mom said, Trebek.
You want me to feed myself to that bullet head over there?
Go ahead. What did Jess? What did you have? What did Vin Diesel have for? I'm sorry, Larry. What did? A fucking brick to the face.
Say it like Larry. My genitals.
All right. This is pretty good shit right
I gotta
there.
tell Larry to stop gargling hot asphalt.
How about you, Wes? What do you got for a question? You want to ask us a question? We'll answer your question. It's your interview now. Go.
No. What are you guys giving up for Lent?
Oh, that's a fucking.
Pixelated bukkake.
All right.
The heart of a child.
Penis breath. Nick has penis breath.
Nice.
All right.
He's giving it up though.
He's giving
Oh.
it
My
all.
cover
Giving it
is
up.
blown.
Yes.
I'm going to say yeast.
I'm giving up German dungeon porn.
Nice.
That's
Robert
It's gonna
Downey
be really
Jr.
tough, guys, but
All right.
I think I got it.
Those are all my videos anyway.
We share them.
What are you giving up for Lent there, Lucas? Did you already say one?
I was going to say the heart of a child again, but
you can't do it twice.
hey, that would be the third
Third time.
I'll
That's a charm.
I'll go with
Think-
the Care Bear stare.
There you go.
Care Bear Stare.
And to answer your question from much earlier, Nick and I are on the 5.0 Beast album.
Nice.
Yes.
How about you? What
Never made it on an album.
You're not even on Bad or Bleeding Bitch?
The thing about that one is that we had 2 weeks to record that whole album, and I was given a chance to write a song, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck to write. And then they were like, oh, well, everybody that wrote a song is going to record the whole song. So that's what you guys did, and then...
It was a real cluster F, if I remember correctly.
Well, I mean, the credit I do get is I did pick out the samples that are in the album, so the samples are mine.
You played the samples.
What are the
Yeah.
samples?
Oh, there's one from Joe Dirt. And
Yeah.
the
Homo Naked?
Yeah, you want to see Homo Naked? Well,
Which
that's
is the
fine.
one? What's the one with the sleepaway camp?
everybody know
That's
that?
5.0 Bs.
That's 5.0.
Yeah, that's
That album was recorded while I was sleeping in the same room.
Nice.
Yep.
yeah. It was that album was a clusterfuck. It was put together like really.
If it wouldn't be Anal Blast if it wasn't, you know.
I think
Well, it was
there's
put together because we were going on tour
Well,
in
I think-
literally like 3 weeks.
I think there's live tracks at the end of the album that actually
Yeah,
Are
he did
me
that
and
too.
Nick.
Yep.
Oh,
there
from
is.
Baltimore, if I
So-
remember correctly.
And then there's also our 4F Club.
Oh, on the
that.
rag?
Yep, on the rag.
And the funny thing is,
I
On
played
the
drums
rag.
on that one.
I didn't know that
And-
about that
yep.
until like 5 years later that I was on that album. I'm like, oh yeah, there's live tracks of you on that. I'm like, I didn't.
Well, he had to.
Don was really good at repressing stuff
Yeah.
and adding stuff. And
Well, dude, he had to make the thing so it wasn't an EP.
Right.
So it was like so he could actually fully trade.
I gotta
Right,
trade this for
So
4 points.
yeah, exactly. It's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was put together like super fast, and then yeah, before we knew it, we were out on the road.
What was the
and
album that was released when we were in LA?
That was that one. That was
Oh, was
Better
it?
Bleeding
Okay.
Bitch.
Okay.
Yep.
That was crazy that so many people knew that shit. You know, well, because
Dude, LA was fucking nuts.
The
Yeah,
one
it
time
was
I played
insane.
there with Anal Blast was insane.
Yeah, we're at the knitting factory, and there's like about 1,500 people there, just going nuts, just
yeah,
like
it was
wanting
insane.
my pick and everything, and I'm just like, holy shit.
Yeah, dude.
And when we played, like the whole place just went nuts.
Yeah.
and
It was like they were waiting for you guys
Yeah.
to get there. I mean, Nick Barker showed up. I mean, it was insane.
Yeah, it was
we all
pretty
went. We
crazy.
all went out to Nick's van and smoked weed, and he fucking hit me up for coke, and it was great.
nice, nice.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. That was crazy when Demew came in town, and Nick was with Demew. You know,
Jimu Burger shorts.
See, I'm jealous of that because that whole
this is
whole
the thing,
day,
though, dude. They
I was
had-
selling merch, so I never got to go and hang out.
Dude, they
and
fucking-
snort coke with
Was
Nick
Don-
Barker.
was Don wearing his Dimu shorts?
He goes.
Probably.
He goes. he goes, "Hey, can you hook these guys up?" And I said, "Yeah, I can probably do that." So Nick and Decker, and we all go to the bus, and you see this big ass bus, and you think that every bus I've ever been on, it's like dirty in one spot. It's never the whole fucking bus. Demew's bus was fucking Decker's apartment. It was just fucking, dude, fucking fast food bags everywhere. And dude, it was ashtrays and beer bottles everywhere. It was insane. It was
Dried
insane.
semen in places you think it couldn't reach.
Pretty much, yeah. Spider-Man jizz.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, at least you got to hang out with Nick Barker.
Yeah,
That
he
would've
was
been
cool
nice.
as fuck too, man.
Fuck.
He was really, really cool.
Yeah, I had to fucking do the merch the whole time. So yeah, I made Decker all his money that night.
Right.
Fucking gay.
So
But-
Jess being the merch person for so many years, what was that all like? I mean, you had to have seen some shit.
I have seen a lot of fucking shit.
Right.
I wouldn't even begin to tell you the best story of traveling with that band. Besides the time, like, I think my favorite story actually is when we went to go take a piss on the side of the road. And I didn't want to go down the hill with the guys, and then Wes didn't need to pee. He did not need to pee. So I'm like,
Okay.
watch me. And not that I wanted to watch him, have him watch me pee, but that, look out for me. And this car had pulled over.
I don't remember this at all.
Of
so.
course you don't.
No.
No, we were going up to
probably
Fargo
drinking.
in a snowstorm, and that was the night that the ghoul almost killed us. Like, I woke up, and the van is, like, sideswiping around, and I'm like, okay, I wake up. I'm the only one that wakes up besides him. I'm like, I could scream and freak out and wake everybody up and probably kill us all, but maybe I preferred to die in my sleep tonight. And, no, you were watching. You were, like, spotting for me while I was taking a piss on the side of the road, and this car pulled over because they thought that we were broken down. And they didn't see me right away. And I'm sitting there, like, popping a squat, side of the highway. I'm like, nah, we're fine. And bare ass.
Fucking
and all.
headlights just fucking right up on your ass cheeks.
Yep.
That's fucking hilarious.
That was the best moment of anal blast.
Like a trooper.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. That's fucking great shit. Yeah, dude, so many good stories about Don and so many crazy stories. You brought up one of him passing out in the
Oh
fucking
yeah, well
alleyway.
that same story that
Yeah.
we're talking about in L.A. when this must have been after the Nick Barker and Coke, but he passed out in the alley. We didn't know where the fuck he was. We ended up calling the county jail, and because we couldn't find him anywhere. He wasn't answering his phone, nothing, and it ended up being like they kicked us out at like around 2 or 3 in the morning. So we're sitting on the sidewalk with all of our merchandise, which is like 3 huge CD bins.
Huge. Those
And,
things were like
like,
10
yes.
feet long and shit, weren't they?
They
like
held
7 feet long.
420 CDs
Each.
Really, yeah.
And they were stacked in the back too,
There
right?
was
Yep.
always 3 of them.
Yeah,
all-
3 of them.
420.
Yep.
Exactly 420.
But
There we go, 420.
we always had 3 on the road, but then if we did Milwaukee Metal Fest, we brought more. I'd say like 10.
Well, yeah, those. But yeah, this one was like 3 of them, and we had like huge shirt bins, and then plus all of our gear.
And the racks too. You guys always
Yeah,
had those
we had the
fucking
racks.
metal racks
Yep,
too.
we had the metal racks, so it's all on the sidewalk, and
He's nowhere to be found.
nowhere to be found.
Dude, you
And-
guys are lucky you had a fucking sidewalk.
Yeah, well, so we ended up having to break into our own van. Ben ended up doing that with a coat hanger, and we got all of our stuff back in it, and we waited around, and then all of a sudden, like around 4 in the morning, it's still dark out, middle of LA, all of a sudden Decker walks around the corner, and he's got this really sad look on his face, like just like a dog, just. And
You mean droopy eyed?
oh yeah, he's really down, and he comes up and he's like, "Oh my god, you guys don't know what happened. I just woke up in an alley. I was like, I'm not sure if the puddle I was in was my own piss or not."
He knew it was.
And he's like, and he goes like, I have like over $7,000 in my pocket, and he pulls out all his money, and I'm like, oh,
Piss
what?
stained $7,000.
Like, what the fuck, dude? Because he was making he was making merch pulls all day,
Right.
and pulling money, and yeah, and then Ben laid into him like super hard, and oh yeah, big fight, and then he walks off and he tries to find a hotel or something because he was going to fly home.
Right.
But we still had gigs. We had like 3 or 4 gigs
Yeah,
left.
we had Arizona and Vegas still too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Fuck,
And then you guys did shows after that too.
Well, I remember a lot of the times when that fucked up shit started happening, I felt bad for Ben because, man, Ben would accidentally get the worst of it through no fault of his own. You know, it just
Well, we were really pissed. Like I was really pissed too. I was leaving the band. Me and Ben both quit that day. We're just like, fuck it.
Shit. I mean, I knocked Decker to the ground in fucking Kansas City. Was it that I knocked Decker to the fucking ground?
Oh, yeah, that was the KFC Taco Bell buffet where you guys managed to take all of the chicken from the buffet.
Yeah.
And you learn smart things from Dwayne Timlin on the road, let me tell you. If you fill up a pillowcase with chicken,
you don't have to eat for a couple days.
Yeah,
At least not pay for it.
It's like Oregon Trail, but with fast food.
But shit, I remember we had.
Do you still get dysentery on the way? That's what I want to know.
You put 800 pounds of chicken in your pillowcase, but we're only able to carry 20 pounds of it back to your van.
Well, we had this one situation when Decker wanted to get road sign 666 in Texas, you know, and it was similar to that because we had to take everything out of the fucking trailer that was in the back of the van. Because what happened is there's no road sign 666 in Texas anymore. People kept fucking stealing it. He didn't know that. He doesn't know a goddamn thing. So we're driving along, you know, he's like, I want to shit on road sign 666 and videotape it for the DVD. And we're like, okay, whatever. So I go to sleep and I kind of half hear like, oh, I think we passed it. Oh shit. Should I? Oh, fuck it, I'll try it. And then all of a sudden, the road got real bumpy, and I kind of remember looking up. He was going in between the 2 highways over the fucking gravel and dirt and in the ditch in fucking Texas. With a trailer, with a rented van. And this all came to a grinding stop. You know, he was like, oh, in Minnesota, that would have worked because the road would have been frozen. It's like, yes, we would have also careened into oncoming traffic. you know, but because the road because the ground wasn't frozen, it was just a big mud pit.
Right.
We end up getting fucking stuck in this shit. The first thing Decker does is hop out of the fucking driver's seat, start staring at us from the front fucking window, drop trow, and start just blowing shit all over the ground while there's semis going, you know, like honking their horns while they're seeing the most disgusting man they've ever seen blow ass.
Well, ain't no way the Duke boys are getting out of this one.
In between a Texas highway.
Squib fib fabbity dee.
So, you know,
eye contact with everybody.
This fucking van ain't moving, you know. So we end up having to fucking start taking all the shit out of the back of the trailer and setting it.
Shit in the back of the trailer too?
No. That's where he kept the urinated on panties.
I thought those were on the rearview mirror.
Yeah, we had ours in the rearview mirror.
We had a couple there too, but he first started stretching them along the side of the trailer because I remember having to duck past him whenever I wanted to grab my amp. But yeah, so we ended up like fucking stacking all of our shit along the highway to try and relieve a little bit of weight on the back of this van. And we finally start moving it forward. And the first thing that happens is when we get past Decker's pile of shit, Ben fucking slips in the mud into the pile of shit. Like, just knee covered in shit. And you could kind of tell, you know, because it was a lighter brown than the mud that was around it and everything. And nothing was really working until finally this dude, missing most of his teeth from like the fucking farm across the highway, all of a sudden he shows up like, you boys look dumb as fuck. You need a dually Dodge to help you get out of this bullshit you've gotten yourself into? And we're sitting there with all our shit, all our fucking gear, all those fucking merch bins they were just talking about.
Raining out and shit?
Along the highway. Yeah, it was starting to drizzle because it was fucking, you know, it was wet. And
monsoon season.
We had already fucking unloaded 3/4 of the fucking trailer, you know, but it didn't matter because that shit wasn't getting out of that mud. So yeah, we had to wait for, you know, a bunch of cars to pass.
Hey, you little Asian boy, you smell like poop.
Dude, Ben was pissed. Ben was so... But we were all in fix-it mode at that point, you know, just avoid the turd and get the van out of the fucking hole, you know.
Day 2 of tour?
Yeah, exactly. So... we didn't end up getting a fucking picture of him shitting on road sign 666, but he did shit on something.
Right. That's hilarious, dude. That's hilarious. Well, let's listen to some tunes, or do we got another question? How about you, Nick? Why don't you ask us a question? What do we got?
Let's see what we got here. All right, here we go. This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends. Not with a bang, but with a...
bleached asshole.
Go ahead, Lucas. What do you got? You got anything?
Doing the right thing.
Estrogen. It's the way of the world.
My ex-wife.
You got an ex-wife, bro?
No, but I'm just saying.
All right, I have jerking off into a pool of children's tears.
Well, thank you guys.
Yes!
That solves a lot of questions. I'm glad you guys could help me figure that out.
Anytime,
All right, so
Nick.
we're gonna listen to some tunes. We got the first GhostHook song on here. What dismembering the
past.
dismembering the past. Can anybody tell me about that? Since you guys
Well, it's a song. We play it in our set.
It used to be alternate picked. Now it's down picked. We down pick it very fast.
There's augmented force and
and then we
major
play.
seconds in it.
Yeah.
First and diminished fifths.
And then Alex yells something.
Yeah.
He yells dismembering the past
The secondary head face thing comes out of Alex's forehead.
when he says that. Yeah.
Oh, when it all squishes up.
Yeah, it looks like
Yeah.
Alex's forehead can do backing vocals sometimes.
It probably could actually.
It looks like he has a parasitic twin trying to break out.
Quato.
Yeah, he's got
Quato.
a Quato forehead while he's doing them
And
brutals.
Alex, I mean that in the best way possible. It's so fucking metal. Like, I am scared of him.
Well,
on
Quato's
stage.
pretty fucking metal.
Well, that's what he gets for not being here.
Then we got the Drip. Is that what it is?
Yeah, they're new. They're fairly new band from Washington on Relapse Records. Fun grind band.
Nice. Then we got some Immolation.
Yeah,
Nice.
Atonement off of their brand new album,
one,
just
nice.
out on Nuclear Blast Records.
I heard it's good. Is it really good?
Really good.
A lot of fans of Immolation think it's the best one since Dawn of Possession, which is a pretty bold statement.
That's going way back.
Yeah. They went back to their original logo on the cover artwork, which they had not had in a few.
Well,
releases.
also that Angel chick is on that first EP cover too that they did. I remember that
Comes
because I have
full circle.
that somewhere.
It's really good.
And then I selected since we're short a couple tunes. I selected a little Witch Den, so I wanted to give them some
Nice.
give them cats some love.
I like Witch
So
Den.
stick around, fuckers. We still got lots more to get to. We will be back.
Smoke a joint.
Hey, Ritual Madness Podcast, episode 153, I believe. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it is. Do me a favor, check out ritualmadnesspodcast.com. On the right side, you can connect with us on a multitude of links, iTunes and Stitcher, social media, Facebook, Twatter. Is that what you said, Lucas? Was it Twatter? Or-
Yes.
Twatter,
Twatter, where
Twatter.
things get twatted.
You twit a twat.
Yeah, Twitter, Twatter.
Twat-way.
Instagram, YouTube, and don't forget to check out the Listen to My Radio app on your space phone. That's LISTE and the number 2. My Radio. Search Ritual Madness Podcast there and bookmark it. You can listen to the station at all times. There's always cool bands on here. GhostHook being one of those on here. Fucking Beauty of Decay's on here. Pentagoria's on here. Fucking Terrorism's on here. What other bands you guys are in or were in? I think I have pretty much all of them, I think. For the most part.
Oh boy, man.
Well, maybe.
Fertilize.
Okay, I won't make that boastful claim. There's
Raytheon?
quite a few, anyways.
Yeah, I think I'm up to what, 16, 17.
Well, Wes is in
bands now?
Krog
you
too.
might. Yeah,
I don't
Krog.
have any Krog yet.
Devitalize.
That's good. Yeah, we
I
got
do have some of
Colostomy
that.
Bong.
I do have some of that and that.
Invid, you were in Invid for a little bit.
Yeah, I wrote
Yeah, in
2
videos.
songs. There's Enola Gray for a while there. The Body
I got some of that,
Beneath.
too. I got some of that too.
I like the Body Beneath. That was a good one.
That was a fun project. That was the first project they did post Anal Blast, and it was literally I woke up and these 2 dudes showed up to my house and was like, oh, well.
They weren't standing over you with their cocks in their hands or nothing.
Which,
were
which
they?
two dudes?
No. Well, Eric Caius from I don't know. Is it Athletic? Is that how you say it?
Etheric.
Etheric.
So it's Kaya's.
I can't say band names right.
Is
Other
it
than
Caius or Keys?
Yeah,
is it
what-
Caius or Keys? He's
I-
gonna
that's-
have
I
to
don't
call.
know.
He's gonna have to call in.
Keys, I
Kay.
think.
Eric K.
Because I always
Eric K.
pronounce it Keys.
And Andy Markham was the drummer
my head,
at that
anyway.
particular time, and we had Ned Teesh from With Dead Hands Rising as our other guitar
yeah.
player at the
Yep.
time when we started out, and yeah, that was weird for me. It was different, you know. I didn't really know the whole hardcore metalcore scene, and jamming with those guys and with the Enola Gray guys for a little bit kind of plugged me in a little bit to that, But at the end of the day, death metal's my thing. It'll always be my thing.
Yeah, but that it might have been lumped in with the hardcore stuff, but that was really good death
And
metal.
I don't.
It was technical death metal.
Well, and I don't disregard that time because that time spent learning other styles, I think, has helped me just overall, just in terms of being able to adapt to different styles. And
Plus, we played a lot of shows together. Back then.
for sure.
What
sure.
you guys have some shows coming up as GhostHook here?
Next one's the 421 show. At
Yes, the
Hexagon.
almost 420. Well, after 420 because we're going to be busy 420.
I think
it's
God.
gonna be a-
God
gonna be
came-
a
Our
weed
anniversary is
hangover?
420.
Yeah, I think
Nice.
God came from outer space is going to headlight that one.
I like those guys.
Yeah, good.
Our
band.
dating,
Yeah,
not
they're-
not married,
they're very-
wedding
they're
anniversary.
very good for sure.
Yeah, it makes me want to smoke a 3-foot bong in the back of a Chevy van every time I hear those
Well,
guys.
we might
They're
do that.
fucking awesome.
Like, and Chevy spelled like SHE.
Yeah, with like a dragon, painted on the side of it.
Heavy
and
with an
shit.
S.
big,
Excuse me. I
big
can't
bubble
spell.
window and shit in the
Yeah,
corner.
dude, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, man, old school Dodgy or something. Too.
But yeah, we got one April 21st, and that's a club.
And then
that's Hexagon.
Hexagon Bar in
Hexagon.
Minneapolis, and then we got May 5th at Club Underground with Krog.
Yep.
And if
Sick
you're going to
fucking
go see
person
them
herder.
at Hexagon, make sure you
Blood.
buy
And
at
blood
that
for
back
punishment.
bar so
Yep.
you guys.
Yeah.
Buy at the back bar, and then
Support the
also
bands, buy at the
mention
back bar.
the Weepy Voice Killer.
Yep,
At
that was
the
his
Hexagon.
last. That was one of his places where he
The Weepy Voice Killer.
he picked up one of his victims.
Oh really?
That and
Yep.
like
The
Mickey's
Hexagon?
Diner.
At the
Yeah.
Hexagon. Oh yeah.
Shit.
Every
Yep.
time I go there, I'm like, the Weepy Voice Killer was here.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
I did not know that. How many people did he kill?
A
2 or
handful.
3.
A handful.
Yeah, it was.
What?
mainly
Then
women.
he picked up some chick from Mickey's Diner, I think, too.
Yep.
And he
I
killed
guess
her.
the metal answer would be not enough.
I should know this. I should know this because we saw the last podcast on the left do a live show at the Turf Club last weekend.
Yeah.
And they brought up the Weepy Voice Killer, and I had a bunch of whiskey, and the whole time I'm just like, it's the Weepy Voice Killer.
Nice. How was the live podcast aspect?
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was packed.
It was a
We
lot
had
of
sold
fun.
out 2 shows. We bought tickets to the first one, and had we realized that the first one was going to sell out, and they were going to do a later show, we probably would have gone to the later show. But we had a great time. We got
How
to
long
meet-
did it last?
It was about a
Couple hours?
Yeah, maybe 90 minutes.
And then they were talking to people afterwards. I talked to Henry Zabrowski about. I asked him if he thought that the gray aliens had contacted Donald Trump, and he said no, but they had been in contact with Obama because they didn't respect Donald Trump because he's not
Right.
smart enough.
And he's fucking yellow or orange.
That too.
He's a Cheeto. He's
He
got
is
a
a
Cheeto
Cheeto.
cock. He's got a puffy Cheeto cock.
Fuck that guy.
Grab him by the pussy.
Yes. Was it day? I got the count.
Well, does it
I
feel
got the-
bigger if
I
you have
got the
small
fucking
hands?
count.
So both shows coming up are going to be
Ask
huge.
a midget. Ask a midget.
I should.
Midgets.
Day 43. Fuck Donald Trump.
Day 43.
Well, now we've disappointed all our Republican fans. So sorry about that.
The right
guys.
wing has been dropped.
Yeah.
I speak on behalf of myself and not on behalf of GhostHook the band.
Ghost Fuck.
Well,
I like Ghost Fuck.
Yeah.
Ghost Fuck.
Just fucking go swoop.
I'll have a bowl of Ghost Fuck.
But to
Sounds
answer
like
your
pho.
earlier question, yes, Beauty of Decay is a band I'm in. And I was also in this really silly band called the Bloody Turncoats for a while where I played bass. And that was not metal at all.
Not at all.
Not even, well, no, we did play a little metal in between like the gypsy folk punk and the rockabilly and the, and the Zappa jazz chords.
So is this is GhostHook now a 7-string band?
yeah.
It's always
Yeah,
been a
it's always
7-string.
been, yeah.
like-
It has.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yes, Step Down.
Well, some of the songs you kind of use the top high 6 strings more than anything else. You can tell a few of the early songs were written on a 6 string,
Yep.
but
Yeah.
it was definitely a 7-string band when I joined, and it's
Most all the stuff we play now is 7-string bass.
step down, A standard,
Yeah, script it and rip it.
yeah. And now me and Nick have matching Jacksons, and Wes has a Charvel, so it's all in the same kind of company, and
Right.
it sounds awesome.
Right.
Props to Coffin from your band Beauty of Decay for the sweet mod job he did on my PV 3120.
Yep.
Shout out to Mod Defecation.
Yeah, guy does amazing work. If anybody needs awesome work done on their amps, definitely check out Mod Defecation, Tony Coffin. Guy's a
Awesome,
genius.
dude.
He's a
Awesome.
mad scientist, actually.
You're kind of a gear snob too, aren't you? You've got a ton of gear, don't you?
Yeah.
You could say he dabbles.
I have kind of a ridiculous amount of gear. I think I was going through it the other day, and if I took all my amps and all my cabs and put them together, I would have 3 full stacks and 2 2 half stacks, each with their own head.
Jesus Christ, dude.
So
What kind of what kind of heads do you play with GhostHook? What is your weapons of choice with GhostHook?
Well, with GhostHook, usually at practice, I'll be using a Crate Excalibur. That's a 220 watt solid state head.
And why do you like solid state instead of tube?
I like both because I honestly use a tube live, and sometimes I'll use both at the same time. And I think
In stereo, then do you do
in stereo, or I'll use a stereo cab. 1 amp going to 2 of the 4x12s, and the other one going to the other
Yeah,
2.
cool contrast with the solid state and tube amp live. You get
It's
a
actually really nice.
nice saturation.
Sounds really
of
good.
sound.
Right.
Yeah,
Warm
and that's
loud.
good and punchy and smooth all at the same time?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's everything has its own application because you got tube amps with a lot of warmth. But the thing is, a lot of bass amps these days, 1,000 watters, those are solid state MOSFETs and stuff like that. Because you try and put that 7-string 56 hertz through that tube amp. The only one that I've found that really does it super well is like a good modded PV, like Nick's got and I got, or like the 300 watt Black Voodoo I just picked up does it pretty well. But the thing is, solid state's really good with low end. It eats it right up. All that tight low end you hear from Pantera albums, that's solid state. And when you mix that with a tube amp, you kind of get the best of both worlds. Sure. There's no part of any note you're missing, and
you got dudes right now fucking writing down shit, taking notes like.
Well, I mean, everything's got its application. You got passive pickups, you got active pickups, you got all these different ways of doing things.
There's YouTube videos for everything now. Just it's all trial and error.
Exactly. And a lot of people are starting to hate on certain things. Like, man, I can name tons of albums that you probably love that have solid state solid state amps all over them.
Right.
And it's everything has its application, and you got a lot of guys that hate active pickups or hate passive pickups or hate tube or hate solid, or it doesn't matter. I mean, if you know how to get a great tone out of something, it's all math and taste.
Sure.
At that point.
That's another thing I think young musicians need to learn is that it's not about buying the most expensive gear. It's about figuring out the sound you're looking for and
the sound you like, that touch your ears the most.
I've spent over half my life playing guitar, and just now I'm starting to feel like I have a tone that's suitable for my playing style. And I think a lot of that just comes with time and playing in a lot of different bands and trying a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And get good amps.
Yeah, well, get good amps, but I mean, the other thing is,
You don't have to spend like $2,000 on an amp, but just get a decent amp.
right? That
A pro amp.
well, that
Yeah.
crate Excalibur I use, that 220 watt, man. I use that all the time. $200 used.
Wow.
Yep.
You can pick that thing up for $200. You can kick it down a flight of stairs. It'll never break. It'll always sound good and always kick some ass. And
Yeah.
it's that's also based on like the Crate GC 130, which you're gonna hear on Cannibal Corpse's The Bleeding, a few
Right.
Dying Fetus albums, and nobody's hating on their tone or anything.
Question for you, Daddy. Why is mommy crying?
Man meat.
Sperm whales. Michelle Obama's arms. Sorry.
Spectacular abs.
Inserting a mason jar into my anus.
Multiple stab wounds.
Multiple stab wounds.
That's a classic.
Hell yeah.
A salty surprise.
I think a salty surprise takes it.
I mean,
I don't know. Inserting a mason jar into your anus, that's pretty good because that's going to make everyone in the room cry, not just the person getting the mason jar inserted.
And it's going to take a lot of work to get that out.
Yeah, everyone's crying.
Careful.
And may also be a salty surprise.
Yes,
Right, true.
true.
That's true.
It is not gluten free.
That's true. That's
could be
true.
both.
Now, if here's the thing though, does it have a lid on it? Is it considered a mason jar if it doesn't have the lid on it?
Yes.
the
Yeah, I
vacuum,
think so.
The vacuum seal.
You don't need the lid for it to be considered a mason jar.
One guy, one cup. He
Well, it says the
inserted
mason jar. It doesn't say anything about the lid, so
He
you got to
couldn't
figure
get it
out where
out,
the
though.
lid goes.
Well,
yeah, he couldn't
if
get
you
it out,
don't
though.
have
It
the
just
lid-
shattered.
If
It
you
just
don't
shattered.
have the lid, it causes a vacuum effect.
Oh.
Yeah.
And if
Gonna
the
get-
gerbil's in there, you're
Vapor
fucked.
lock.
Yeah.
No, if the gerbil's in there, the gerbil's fucked.
Well, I mean, there's fuckery all around on that. There's no winner in that
There's a
situation.
whole lot of fuckery going on there.
There is fuckery afoot.
We're getting inside all of the deep issues tonight, peeps.
Yeah,
Literally the deep issues.
We're touching them deep, that's for sure. What do you, Michelle, you got a question for us? I'm sure you got a good one, don't you?
Oh, I do.
And you know I do.
All right, this is a two-parter, so you're going to need 2 cards.
Fuck, I hate two-parters.
For my next trick, I will pull a blank out of blank.
You're going to pull a blank out of blank.
Correct.
I will pull poorly timed Holocaust jokes out of a balanced breakfast.
I'd like to follow that one up because I think this will work well. I would get a bag of magic beans from Auschwitz.
Oh, fuck, Nick.
So what is this again?
I just lost my train of thought. I'm going to pull blank out of blank. And the cards I pulled I'm going to pull a bioengineered assault turtles with acid breath out of Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Yes.
Well, he'd at least be able to tell you how that was going to go down.
Right, exactly.
I got, for my next trick, I will pull a falcon with a cap on its head out of a gassy antelope.
That seems like a lot of work.
I am going to pull ethnic cleansing out of the rhythms of Africa.
Oh, well.
Here we go. Hold on.
This shit just got dark.
Self-loathing out of pretending to care.
That is you, Wes.
That is
really
me.
you.
Yes,
That's like your mission statement.
pretty
See,
much.
Wes's claim to fame is that he used to break stages. All the
Yeah.
time.
Oh yeah. All the time.
All the time.
Stage breaker.
Yeah, I survived stage breaking.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was the first show, I think. Was that the
It was
was
like,
that Bemidji show?
No, wait. When you broke
No.
it, Decker was on the other side of the stage too. You guys weren't
Oh,
all in one spot, were you?
He was about.
It wasn't a
maybe
very
10
big
feet away.
stage. It was not a very
It
big.
was station 4.
Oh,
How did it break?
No, what happened was I didn't even
different
break the
story.
stage. It was just we're on stage, we're playing, and at station 4 they had those speakers that were just like just standing there.
Yeah.
Well, this is before they put those safety straps on it.
Wes is the reason.
I'm
they
the
accept
reason
you.
those were there because we're playing, and I must have bumped it or something. But I'm playing, and all of a sudden, like I see my stepbrother running towards me, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And all
for
of a sudden,
those of you not familiar with
I got
Wes,
hit in the hand.
He is considered a big guy.
I'm a huge,
He's
huge dude.
he could be
6'5", over 300 pounds, big guy.
dripping wet.
Yes.
Gentle giant.
He's soaking
And
wet right
hits me on my hand, and the whole fucking speaker fell on the stage.
now. Damn.
Did
So
that
Decker
happen?
just named me that after that.
Stage breaker.
Yep.
I thought that happened at Milwaukee too.
Oh, Wes.
I don't know. No, Milwaukee.
really
I think Milwaukee. I was drunk, and
Well, why wouldn't you be?
The
I was
alcohol
trying to.
broke the stage, not me.
That's a lot of
I had
alcohol.
I had a half a bottle of whiskey in me when we got on stage.
Like
And,
on your person or in you?
in me, like
What?
Like-
Okay, are you talking
like
a
the
fifth?
jar,
Are you
or
talking
we-
a 175? What kind
No,
of whiskey
of,
bottle?
a liter.
Okay,
So,
it's a
quart.
significant
Yeah.
amount.
So
Holy cow!
yeah, so I was backstage talking to the dude from Origin right before I'm about to go on stage because they were right after us.
dude?
Well, the bass player, Mikey Flores. Talking with him, and we're doing this shit, and I'm just like, "Fuck, man, I'm gonna have to outdo this guy somehow." And because the guy is like a ridiculously good player, and I go out there and I'm like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do the behind the back thing."
Oh God!
Yeah,
Hold my beer.
it was so gay.
Yeah, dude. No.
You didn't.
It was so,
So-
cool at the time.
I did it, and but when it came around front, I missed it. Oh. And so, but it was.
So
I
you
had strap locks.
You fucked up a
so-
bitch toss.
You attempted it.
Yeah, I attempted
You didn't
it.
do it.
Well, so I had to grab it, and then I was headbanging, and I lost balance, and I fell back, and I bent the cord into the jack on the amp, and yeah, that was fun.
So did you outdo the guy before? Or?
Yeah, did you?
Oh, he had to go on after me, man. Yeah, I felt really bad for him.
Did he have to knock the whole
you
stage
won.
over?
I won. Yes.
Ah, that's great shit right there. So as you guys have played 3 shows as a full unit now?
Let's actually come.
Yeah.
The Sheboygan show. Not all of us were there.
No, I fell at work and hurt my back, so I couldn't go to that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but back problems. Take care of your backs, people.
Yeah.
back
like
problems
your children.
fucking suck.
I know all
Yeah,
about
it's
those.
like your children. You got to take care of your children.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, most definitely.
But yeah, I think it's
so,
been
I mean,
about 3 shows with
you-
the lineup minus Wes on one. Yeah.
Yeah. So what you guys who have you played with so far?
Jesus, you're asking us to remember things.
Yeah, you guys.
This is Minnesota's highest.
First
metal-
show was with the
I would have to say you
Tempestuous
Yeah, that was Toys for Tot show.
Toys for Tot show,
NYDM.
So, and then Morbid Saint twice. For me,
Yeah, for you guys.
Yeah.
How was Sheboygan?
I didn't.
was-
Well, we didn't have any sausage there, but we had some
have
delicious
some cheese?
Mexican there.
Have any cheese?
And yeah, there wasn't really time for cheese. There was just a lot of puddles and
There's always time for cheese.
That's true.
I was told there's a lot
Wisconsin
of fog.
cheese.
It was Wisconsin. Yeah, there was a lot of fog. It was straight Silent Hill the whole way there.
we
and
electric
back.
wizarded Morbid Saints. We smoked out their RV.
Yeah, there was an RV that we left looking quite chonked,
Cheech
quite
and Chong,
quite
right?
fishboned by
Yeah.
the time we got out of there.
It smelled like GhostHook.
I remember there was something.
Hashtag smells like ghost hook.
A really long joint that was also just had like 2 lines of dabs running down either side of it.
Oh Jesus!
And that one was only halfway
Yeah.
gone when someone else lit something else, and after that,
Kind of fuzzy.
yeah,
And I think we still had 3 hours before we sound checked.
yeah. And then I took a nap, and some lady backed into my car.
Yeah,
And-
and then she tried blaming it on you.
Yeah, she did while I was sleeping in a parked vehicle. and it
Only
was-
in Wisconsin.
Yeah, it was the biggest vehicle.
Oh, you gonna fucking park your car right there?
Yeah, I was trying to get on the fucking sidewalk. Okay, why? You know.
Well, that's how we drive. In
Did you notice this was the biggest thing parked on this block? Were you trying to hit it?
Did you not notice the?
Yeah, how many people does your truck sit?
Oh,
Like 7?
Eight.
Okay, 8. Yeah.
Yeah. 8.
Not a tiny 2-door hatchback.
Well, it fits probably 5 GhostHook members. If you look at the GhostHook members, it fits probably about 5 of us. Yeah, so it works. You know.
What's my anti-drug? What is my anti-drug?
Man meat.
An endless stream of diarrhea.
David Bowie in on a tiger made of lightning. Flying in on a tiger made of lightning.
Greg, your power is being fabulous.
Oh, super sweet.
Ooh, also 8 ounces of sweet Mexican black tar heroin.
Oh shit!
Yes. Yes.
That would be an anti-drug. You would not be able to take any more drugs.
I'm
after
gonna
that.
say-
Only that one.
You would
an
be
ugly
dead.
face. An ugly face. There we go. Nick, did you have one? You were gonna add to my special power.
figgy pudding. That's all I got.
Figgy pudding.
Figgy pudding.
So is it made out of figs?
Yeah, it's
Fig-
it's a seasonal dish.
In which area is that located?
From the We Wish You a Merry Christmas song.
From the land of fig.
An ugly face works pretty well too, because man, you look at a meth monkey after a decade of hard use, they are not looking
Oh, no.
fair.
0 teeth. 0 teeth.
Yes.
Hey, how did Tony Garfield get into this conversation? I said it, you bitch made motherfucker.
Zing!
How does Tony Garfield get into any conversation?
Well, first you have to smoke a
With
couple teeth. and
with
then,
chains and bike locks
yeah, and
tasers.
wallet chains and
And the gnashing of gums.
fucking what are those what the fuck are they? The Italian fucking
Brass knuckle.
no cannolis. That's what they are.
Nice.
Cannolis. Yeah,
Brass
Well, he is
knuckle
Italian,
cannolis
isn't
would
he?
be pretty
Yeah.
amazing.
yeah.
Is he Italian?
Yes, he is.
Dude, his
well,
last
he's got
Garfield-
red hair.
last
I
name's
Garfield
fucking Garfield.
does not
man.
sound very Italian.
No, it's Garfalini. The great Garfalini. Yes.
Garfield.
Well, the one thing everyone knows about Garfield is that he loves lasagna,
That's
so that
true.
makes sense.
And he really hates Mondays.
Right. What?
And normal.
So have all you guys played in bands with Tony, or
Yes.
Yes.
We have.
Nick? Have you played with him as well?
Well, he was in.
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Oh, that's
an
right.
Blast.
Oh, that's right.
Come
That's
on, man.
crazy.
Yeah.
I'm slipping over here.
I can honestly say I never had the pleasure of going on tour as a merch girl with Tony Garfield, but I have for many years with Anal Blast.
Right.
I've even jammed with Tony after Anal Blast for a while with Aaron Limontainen and
I was there.
Steve Shagwell and Wes and Jess from Incinerate / Face of Oblivion was there, and It all just seemed like a dream.
Yeah, he was in Beauty of Decay for a while too. Yeah.
Who's that?
Garf.
Oh, Garf was, yeah.
Yeah, Garf's got a heck of
Yeah,
a
he was in
resume.
BTK. Yep.
Yeah,
He's got a heck of a resume. Yeah, that's for sure. And the resume continues to get longer.
Yeah, he's working with some new people right now.
Those poor son of a bitches.
I know.
Always looking for the next band to
New to this country?
sorry,
or-
get
guys.
fired from.
To start internet
Yes,
trouble
get
with.
fired from.
Yes.
Air quotes. Air
Whatever,
quotes.
you flakes. Knock it off.
So I've been sitting here for 12 hours and they said we're going to practice. And they didn't show up. I've been here.
I'm fat.
I'm fat.
Well, Greg, my favorite story about you
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh.
is still to this day. My favorite story about you is when we were going to.
Was I on mushrooms?
No.
Oh, okay.
This is before the mushrooms.
Okay.
A few days before. Was when Decker told you you couldn't smoke in the van. And you were livid, and I saw you crack the pavement after punching the parking meter outside the red door.
Oh, wow.
And that was the first time I met you.
Wow.
And I was like, fuck.
Holy shit. I don't remember that one.
I was like, oh man, I gotta do like damage control between like if a fight breaks out, I'm not gonna know what to do. I'm just gonna go into a corner and hide.
Well, shit, it's a good thing I've been bombing your smokes thing.
Said, don't kill us, please.
Well, and you had all your piercings back then.
Right.
And yeah, like it was just really. I'm like, oh my god.
Were
who
you?
is
Were
this
you?
guy?
We were all together when Decker and I slept at Jack Koshik's place, right?
Yeah.
You guys were in the van, weren't you?
Yeah. Wes and I were always thrown in the van together.
Yep. Yeah, we were in the van, huh? Because
Yeah.
I don't remember sleeping up there. Okay.
Well, yeah, that was a really funny time because it was like you guys go to the van and we just sit there and play Thumb Wars. It was like the best thing
Yeah.
ever because we were away from
Yep.
Don.
Yeah, that's true.
And
Because we were living with Don at the time
Right.
as well, and it
Right.
was just like,
but no, I remember
Any-
a few days later when we were leaving Milwaukee, you were like, we were like, "Where's Greg?" And you were like, you jump in the van. You're like, "Don't fucking tell anybody. I am high as fuck on mushrooms." And I'm like,
How long was that ride? I remember. I don't remember how long that
from
ride
St.
was.
Paul to Milwaukee.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
it's like
okay.
7
All right,
hours,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, but we dropped you off somewhere. You caught a ride with some other people. It was like you were gone like an hour later. We dropped you off.
yeah,
somewhere.
that's where we did drop you off somewhere.
Where the fuck? Where,
I don't know.
Well,
where
I
we left
can't
you.
smoke in the van. I might as well be on shrooms.
Yeah.
It's one way to take care of that.
I don't.
Is that, how
dude,
is
I
that
don't
what the
remember.
jump is these days?
Well, and that was the same night. Like we were talking to Macabre, and we were
Yeah.
just drunk as fuck. And
Bim,
Greg
bim, bim, bim,
was
bim,
high
bim,
on
bim.
mushrooms in the same restaurant, not talking to us. I don't know who he was talking to. Maybe even nobody. But it was a fun night.
Dude, were we all together when we went to Chicago? And I think that was the same thing, wasn't it? We went to Chicago to some party, and we were in fucking some big like rehearsal space. Who the fuck were we hanging out with
Was
that
that
night?
the night that the fight broke out? It was I swear. Well, a lot of fights break out, but I think I remember a fight breaking out that night, and I had to like gather people and get them out.
Oh, I can't remember. All I remember is trying to get some chick to go back to my hotel room.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
I think that was the night you were on shrooms. I remember you were talking to some lady.
Some big bimbo. I remember
Ended
her
up
just
being
a
an
complete-
alpaca.
It was actually a coat rack.
Yeah. Well, she hung because she said she was going to come back to my hotel room, and I remember giving her my room and shit. And then she never showed up. And then the next day we went to the Metal Fest, and it turned out to be Jack Koshik's daughter's best friend or some shit.
Oh, fuck.
And Koshik was all pissed, and he was mad and yelling at Decker and wanted to get Necromus kicked off the bill. And then somehow Decker ended up like he had switched. We took this band from LA's tickets because it all went that we were all going to play at the Knitting Factory. And these guys set it all up, and we took their tickets and sold all their tickets, and they came and it didn't end up playing. I think it was after that fact. I think we played in LA first, and then they were coming back.
Yeah, didn't
but
you
they
beat
were pissed, and Decker stayed right by me in the alleyway. He wouldn't leave, and I was hanging out with Sammy from Goat Horror and sitting in the fucking hallway. or
Aw,
whatever.
Sammy.
Yeah, we played with Misfits that year too.
Yeah, well, all those
Yeah.
festivals did have kind of strange priorities. Like, I do kind of remember hearing about someone walking in on their wife getting banged by Val Venus and that being okay, but apparently you can't bang the daughter's best friend or something like that. And then someone would almost die or something, and that would be cool, but then someone said the wrong thing on stage, and all of a sudden all hell's breaking loose, you know.
You know what? I tripped mushrooms the next night too in the burrito bar next door. Remember
that's
that?
the night I remember.
Oh, dude.
Quick question about you, since you brought up Necromus and mushrooms. That Jack's on Mille Lacs,
Yeah.
Were you on mushrooms when the full moon and the clouds parted, or was that just
No, that was just pure drunkenness.
just pure
yeah.
awesome drunkenness?
Yeah, I remember that whole night. It was freezing cold, and the fucking clouds were every which way. And
It was perfect though, because like it was
we went on at like midnight or something.
yeah, but the clouds parted and the full moon
it
came
was
out.
a huge yellow moon. It was gigantic. I remember it just parting and
Yes.
yeah, that was fucking awesome.
Somewhere on a photo bucket account, I have pictures of that shit.
I got that shit somewhere too. That lady, okay, the lady who owned that burrito shop next to where they had the Metal Fest that year. She was a hot old broad with gold teeth. I remember that, right? And she was like total cougar. And there's this young Mexican dude at the end of the thing, you know. And I'm talking to her daughter, and somebody reaches over and just sprinkles mushrooms in my burrito. And I'm like, oh, and it was just a little bit, and I was just flying out of my fucking mind. And I remember,
You sure it wasn't the burrito?
I'm pretty sure because I had like 4 of them that day. So
They were really good burritos.
they were awesome burritos. But I remember asking, who is this hot old broad, right? And the girl who was serving us all day was like, that's my mom. And I'm going, holy fuck.
Because you're ugly as hell.
She's
How did
like,
that
no, she was even hotter than the mom. She was like 20 something, you know. And I'm like trying to talk to her, but the girl wouldn't talk to me, but the mom would talk to me. And then all of a sudden, the mom's boyfriend is like 20 and she's like 60. You know what I mean? And still looked really good. And I'm going, holy shit. And I kept looking at her, and she barely spoke English. And I kept saying, good work. You got a nice young dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the daughter, like, I was talking to the mom, and then the daughter wanted to take me home, and I'm going, I'm free. Let's go. I'll fucking
down for
roll
whatever.
me up in a tortilla. Let's rock this shit, you know? Yeah, it was fucking, yeah, right? More like, you know, maracas, you know?
Well, I remember that was also the year. That was the Milwaukee Metal Fest where Death Angel played, and the set times were taking way too long.
Yeah.
And then I think Death Angel got cut
Yeah.
really early. And I remember like a almost like fight breaking out. Someone pulled out a fire extinguisher, and I laid across Nightfall merch. And I'm like, dear God, do not fucking
Right.
That's
riot.
an interesting pickup strategy, though, Greg. I'm gonna have to try that sometime.
What?
Start hitting on a chick's mom in
Right.
front of her and see how well that
Right.
goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to go back to this burrito place so bad. I'm like, oh, we got to go back to Milwaukee and just find this burrito place and stroll in there, you know?
Yeah.
It was so ridiculous.
Just see how cooler you
It was
could make
2
it.
guys from Minneapolis. I remember that. It was 2 dudes from Minneapolis, and they were all fucking shroomed out, and they're like, hey, Necromus dude. And we sat there and drank and hung out the whole night. The night before, didn't I almost get into a fight with some dude in the fucking, right in front of the place?
Was that the pre-show
Yeah, pre-show.
with the 4F Club?
Yes.
Yes.
And-
that was also the night that Eric Holman picked me up and held me over his head, and I thought I was going to die.
Jesus Christ, man. What
That
a
guy was
fucking,
horrifying.
What a crazy ass fucking deal.
Yeah, man.
Holy shit. Well, let's take a listen to some more tunes. We got, Bread for Slaughter?
Oh, that's a good one.
And then we've got some Face of Oblivion off of their new album.
Is that,
Nice.
is that Aoki Gahara?
Yeah, that's the one. And we've
turning
got some.
Japanese. They're
I
turning
threw a Bonesaw song in there. That's a band that I picked up.
Saw's ready.
And then we've got some old school shit that I actually heard this band for the first time from Earl Roots, some ex-Hoarder.
Oh.
And I actually had a broken jaw when I saw them in the entry, and they had a football and they called it Skank Ball. And anybody who ended up with the football at the end of the song got free merch. And they threw this fucking football into the crowd, and I got a broken jaw, my mouth is wired shut, and all my friends are pulling me out of the pit, and I am fucking throwing dudes every which way, and I ended up with the ball. And
Yeah,
people were on
for
top
those
of me, and-
those of you out there that don't know Slaughter the Vatican, it's a master classic. Go
Fucking
listen
A.
to it start to finish on
Yeah.
YouTube.
If
We're
you're
gonna play
wondering
one of
where
the best songs
Pantera
on
got their sound,
Yes.
basically.
And you
well,
know-
the sad thing about that is that they needed 2 guitar players to make 1 dime bag. That's all I got to say about
Well,
that.
and if you talk to the guys in Next Order, you know they don't like that record at all because they recorded right after Sepultura did Beneath the Remains,
Right.
and apparently that's why the drums sound the way they do. You know, they didn't get the drums or guitar sound. Apparently their demos sound better than Slaughter the Vatican does.
wow.
So I kind of want to go back and listen to their demos.
Wow, man. Yeah, I didn't know that shit. Well, take a listen, folks. We'll be back. We got a little bit left, and yeah, fucking A. Listen up.
Metal.
What a way to end a set with a little ex-Hoarder Slaughter in the Vatican type of shit, huh? That's awesome. And during the break, we had a conversation about a silly thing when Don Decker passed away, and I apologize for everybody that this has kind of been quite a bit of talk about Don Decker since we have so many anal blast people in this room as well. But so we're putting Don to rest, and we're at Station 4, and Steve has trays of Don Decker's ashes in shot glasses. And we jumped in their shuttle van and went out to Mound, and I can't even remember, what is it, Excelsior, or what is it, Lake Minnetonka, or what lake is that? And we all go out there, and Pat from fucking Demonicon or Dominion at the time, he's got a gigantic bottle of Sky vodka, and maybe it wasn't Sky, yeah,
Probably was Kharkov.
no, it was what was the one with the fucking the robot lady? You know what I'm talking about?
Svedka.
So he had a bottle of Svedka, and he took some of Decker's ashes and he poured it in the whole bottle. And they passed this bottle around. I think a couple people had took some of the dust ashes and did lines with it. A couple people were taking shots of Decker. You know,
Everybody gained 5 pounds just from taking shots.
Yep, fat.
And so I had salvaged some bones from him, and in the very beginning I put it in a cellophane of a cigarette pack, and I had it forever, and I put it in a small cocaine bag, and I drove around on my motorcycle for a fucking long while, and I stumbled across a bag of blow in my jacket, in my riding jacket, and I had those bones forever in this little baggie, and lost them for a while, and I'm driving around again, and I'm wanting to party, and I pull this fucking baggie out, and I go to take a taste of it, and it's Don Decker's bones, and I just kind of pulled out this baggie before we came back on air of Don Decker's bones, and we kind of all reminisced about how silly it was, you know.
That's kind of a perfect allegory for Don Decker, though. You think you've just found a bag of cocaine, and it ends up being human bones.
Well, yeah. There's some fucking great stories, man, where we went to Milwaukee Metal Fest and played the Metal Fest. And, in Necromus, it was crazy because I was like the only kid that was from the city. Everybody else was from the suburbs, you know. So Don and I got along pretty well. And he thought that all the guys from Necromus were all well-behaved children, you know what I'm saying? So he was always trying to antagonize the rest of the guys in the band to do something crazy. So we'd go to these big buffets, you know, or giant burrito shops or something, and he would, eat 4 burritos and throw 4 more at people's cars. And he took a fucking full-size soft serve cone and jumped on top of this dude's van and slammed the fucking cone into the windshield, right? And we're getting kicked out of this buffet already for making a huge mess and throwing food at each other. And he throws the ice cream cone on this van's window and jumps. Well, I think it was a truck. And he jumps on it and he pulls his fucking sweatpants down and rubs the fucking ice cream with his ass all over this dude's windshield. And the guy comes running out, and we jump in the van and we take off, you know. But later on that day, we get this hotel right down from the rave. Just this motor lodge that was, we're blocks from Dahmer's fucking place. And what is it? The
Ambassador Hotel.
The Ambassador Hotel. And we get this hotel room, right? And he's like,
Yeah, we gotta stay here. No, it's super cheap and blah, blah, blah.
right? And we get to the thing, and everybody in the band runs in the room, and we're all scrambling to find the Bible first. Whoever gets the Bible wins whatever we are doing. And we open the first drawer of this fucking dresser, and it is filled with fucking envelopes with these long love letters to another guy. Right, from one guy to another guy.
In the Bible?
No, in this big the dresser drawer.
Oh, Jesus!
So it's broken crack pipes, crack vials, syringes, an enema kit that was used that had shit all over it.
Oh,
yeah! So
awesome Yelp reviews.
So Decker's going, he's all into it, you know.
Oh yeah,
And
I'm
so
sure
he
he was as
Imagine
happy.
if Decker had Instagram at this.
Oh, dude.
at
I'm
this
sure he
point in
was as
time.
happy as a pig in shit.
How many big giant gapy buttholes that you would see? And fucking,
Every giant gapey butthole.
Oh, he's just
all of the
winking at
giant
ya.
gapey buttholes.
And by the end of the night, so I pick up this chick from Chicago. The band plays way later than we were supposed to. He's like, yeah, you'll go on about 7 or 8. And I think UFO was playing in the big room in the Eagles club, right? And they had to take half the PA from downstairs, so we get bumped back another couple hours, right? So Don comes down and he goes, okay, well, they had to take the fucking PA and bring it upstairs because UFO was all pissed off and needed to have more sound systems. So they took half the PA, they bring it upstairs. UFO plays, they come down and they bring the speakers back, and the show down in the rave is going on as planned now. We're moved back 3-4 hours, right? I meet this chick from Chicago and I'm fucking sucking face with this broad from Chicago. I have no idea who she was. I just remember her having really big boobs and this little tiny ass, and Decker's following me around trying to get her underwear from her and all this crazy shit. And
probably trying to get her to pee on it first.
We get back to the hotel, and I'm like, I'm not staying in this fucking room. Decker is piss drunk. He pulls the fucking mattress off the thing, but he lets the guys into Chromas. Okay, it is a blood-stained, piss fucking spotted mattress.
Dude.
I mean, it is just filthy, right?
Well, that was one I love being short when we were on tour because I actually slept in the van more often than I would
that's
sleep
where I went. I took this chick to the van, and you know, we fucked around in the van until he got us kicked out of this hotel because he pulled the fucking mattress off the thing, took the box spring and decided to give the rest of the mattress to the guys in the band, but he was going to sleep on this box spring and he couldn't get comfortable, and he tried to pull his pants down again and got him to his or to his knees and stumbled and put his ass through the window in the fucking hotel room.
That is,
and then
because that's a lot of ass. That would take out that window
dude,
in a
just
second.
Shattered the window. He cut his ass all up. He's bleeding and fucking it was
Ass
insane.
GPS. Know exactly where Don is.
Because there'd be many a time when I'd be sleeping in the van, you know, quite peacefully, since I'm short, I can fit in nice small areas, and then I'd all of a sudden wake up to like the van door being thrown open while everyone's running away from some fucked up shit that Decker had just done in the hotel room. Like the one thing I remember is like
music queued up, just
Well, I remember sleeping and like, you know, waking up and everybody's like just piling into the van. I'm just like sitting there like, what's going on? What happened? And it was like, some guy's like, Decker was sick, so he took the NyQuil top thing and jerked off on it in the shower, and it's just sitting on the top of the TV in the hotel room now, and none of us want to be in that hotel room because, Decker's just leaving shots of his semen around the hotel room.
That's what he did. He would take the dust cover off of the cups that they provided,
Right.
jerk off into it, and replace the dust cover. Because I remember he got me one time because he's like, Kitty, could you hand me that cup? And I'm like, okay. And he's like, look at the cup. And I looked at it and I'm like, I just dropped it.
See, and I was zen. I just stayed in the van. I didn't have to deal with any of this.
But there were times when
one rule of touring an anal blast:
stay in the van.
I don't care if you have to play. Stay in the van.
Yeah.
There were times.
Stay in the van.
But there were times where I had to really make a conscious decision. I'm like, okay, if some guy walks by and sees a girl sleeping in a van versus a guy sleeping in the van, there were times where I couldn't.
Right.
Not by yourself.
No.
Just
But-
insane, man.
Well, we're all still alive, so we got that going for us.
The favorite story I remember, I
Kind
don't know
of.
if you guys do, was when we went to the bathroom, or we stopped somewhere along to, I don't know where we were going or where we were coming from, but we stopped at a country club because Decker had to shit. And
At a country club.
it was a fancy place. And I remember Decker wouldn't let us smoke in the van, so all of us pile out, we're smoking cigarettes, and all of a sudden Decker, I shit you not, comes running. Blah, 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 blah. Like out the fucking front door. He's like, you guys, we gotta go. Throw your cigarettes down now. So we hop in the van. Dead quiet. He's like, what happened, Don? Fuck you, I don't want to talk about it. And there's dead silence on the road. And then all of a sudden, because we know he's going to talk about it, all of a sudden he breaks the silence. He was like, so I took a shit. I was wiping. I was standing up. I thought I had to fart. And it all blew loose. And then somebody came to the bathroom.
Bathtub
And
crank.
he basically like shit all over the top of this toilet standing up. And then just beelined it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that Decker was really good at. I mean, he would do something really dumb and then have some weird escape strategy.
Right.
You know, he knew when to get the fuck out of Dodge.
It was a
Flabby Blasto,
Yeah.
slash Houdini.
Exactly. And you're like, how did this something this large and vile escape everyone's attention after that's
Yeah, I had
horrible
no
of an
idea.
act,
He
you
was
know?
a flabby
It's all
ninja.
about the Church of the Virtual Heavens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, Virtual Heavens. No, but like that guy never got caught ever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand it. He stole. I remember one time he stole a
He's got out a lot of
handicap
DWIs.
sign. Stole a handicap sign that was like in a bucket of cement. They just threw it. Like I'm trying to sleep in the van, and we had just gotten done seeing Iron Maiden in Chicago. And Decker and Nick are driving around. I'm trying to go to bed, and all of a sudden, like the back doors fly open, and Decker's tossing in this handicap sign, and then we're off. And then the next thing I know, we're driving up on the beach in front of Lake Michigan,
yep.
like actual beach. Like we drove right up on in the sand, and just parked there at like 3 a.m. And no cops or anything, and we were there for like a half an hour.
We busted into a park. Like,
Yeah,
it was
like a
closed
park. Yes, it was closed, and we drove right up onto the beach
That's insane.
Because reasons.
Yeah.
because of Decker.
Well,
Yeah.
and Decker
Well, and
never
then-
got caught.
Didn't you shit in Lake Michigan?
Fuck, I wasn't gonna mention that.
No wonder they had a water
That-
problem.
Oh yeah,
That is the title for your fucking Wes Nelson memoirs, shitting in Lake Michigan.
My name is Wes, and I shat in Lake Michigan.
it was. It's not one of my proudest moments.
We'll do tell now.
Yeah.
Now that it's the cat's out of the shats out of
What?
the bed.
Yeah,
You gotta tell it
that's
now.
pretty much
You
it.
gotta
I
tell it
shit
now.
in
You're
Lake Michigan.
responsible for
I was
Flint,
I was
Michigan.
there. I was witness. He had to go.
I did have to.
So he bumped. He's got his shit
no, I had to
together
climb,
and then
I
let it
climbed
go.
down onto the rocks, and I found one that had a gap in between.
It was like nature's toilet
Dude,
seat.
yes, it was like nature's toilet. And I went, and then
The water's
I
washed
cleaned it
you
off.
clean.
Lake Michigan, nature's bidet.
Yeah.
No, but
The people of Flint, Michigan, thank you.
yeah,
Is this filtered?
well, and back
yeah,
to Decker
about
never
10
getting
years
caught
later.
Yeah.
with anything. I remember him and I went to a Mexican restaurant one day, and I complimented a purple chair. And the meal continues, and end of the time rolls around. We're paying our bill, and he's like, "You still like that chair?" I'm like, "Yeah." He picks up the chair, walks past the restaurant manager on his way out, like chair over his shoulder, like, "Have a good day," and he parked right in front. And he just loads this chair up into the fucking big Tampa.
No, I'm here to
Mexican.
move this chair. That's it.
Yeah.
And we just drive away. And I was just the reality of the restaurant manager would rather lose this chair than deal with this big fat fuck was the best reality ever. Like, as far as I could
Pretty
like,
much.
I could go anywhere with this guy and be embarrassed, but I'm not going to get fucked with.
I don't know what happened. He must have had like a predator cloak whenever he passed the fuck out somewhere.
Yes, seriously.
Or like it was nobody wanted to.
$7,000 in a fucking
Yes, I
in your
know.
pocket.
Dude,
Exactly.
no one. Well, there was this one time when we played on fucking Bourbon Street, Mardi Gras Saturday, and the dude passes out in the middle of the fucking Bourbon Street, and there's people fucking everywhere, cops
walking over
everywhere.
him and shit?
Yeah, and all of a sudden he's just like a gigantic natural roadblock that like no one wanted to look at or acknowledge existed.
It's like a stream. All of a sudden, it just kind of
Yeah,
filters
there's this
around him and
fucking
shit.
boulder in the middle of it all, you know, and like you see cops with like gigantic beat down sticks all over the place,
Right.
and there's, you know, the world's most disgusting man laying on the fuck in the middle of the road, and everyone's just like, nothing to see here, you know. It's
Well, the
Maybe
best
that-
was though is that whenever a cop did arrive, oh man, he was like the most polite dude ever, and like
Dude,
just
he
totally
got
kissed
out. The
ass.
cops came when he broke his ass through that fucking window. He ended up paying for the window, and the
Yeah.
cops came and
Yep.
he still got out of it. We ended up
Yeah.
just loading the
Holy
van up
shit.
and leaving.
Dude, he had
that night.
negotiation
Holy
skills.
shit.
Oh yeah.
well, and on top of that, any cop looks at him and they're like, "Do I want this in the back of
Right.
my squad
That,
car?"
that was
He's
that
that
was
fit in the back of my squad.
that
car.
was pre like pentagram skull tattoo, I assume.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
yeah.
And then after that, it's
No,
like,
he only got that because he was dying.
do
Well,
I
well,
want
yeah.
do I want to fill out the paperwork dealing with this? Do I?
Right.
No, hell
Yeah.
no. I mean, that was the biggest thing. And like one time we tried to go to Canada, me and Nick in the band. And
Oh yeah.
I mean, shit, the second you hit the Canadian border with Decker, they're just,
They were thrilled, I bet.
oh yeah, they look
Oh,
at
they
him.
turn
You'd be
around.
amazed all the substances they found on our driver's license.
Yeah, they're like, okay,
Lots of coke. We
we're
got
not going
traces
to
of
let you
coke on
in.
here.
Now we just have to figure out what bullshit we can tell you because we don't want this asshole anywhere in our country, you know? Because the first thing he did is he like walks in and he's like, we're musicians from America. We're here to spend money in your country. And then he just like fucking drops his pants in the middle of the fucking thing.
What?
And,
Shut up.
And he had his,
Shut
he had his
up.
tighty whities on, but he's
Oh,
like,
no.
I don't have any drugs or anything you can check. And like, you know, so like all the guys standing there like, yeah, we're going to let you in our fucking country. This is going to happen now.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it probably
What if
didn't
that
help
was like-
that he had DWIs.
What if they kept that as like,
Also-
like for
also
training
the
purposes? Like
DWIs.
that's their go-to training video. Like,
Yeah.
okay, this is what you do. if
Okay,
you have
this
to
is an
deal with it.
obvious
This
no.
is how you handle a crazy
Right.
person.
Yeah. But it was funny because they took, they started going through the van, started ripping everything out, because even though they were rejecting us, they wanted us to never, ever try it again, so.
And what was hilarious about that trip is we brought no guitars, no amps.
No.
Yeah.
It was just us.
Yeah, and they were going through everything, and like they grabbed our IDs, and I remember they turned to me and they're like, Mr. Rominger, is it? You seem to have marijuana and hash residue on your identification. And they didn't seem to care too much about that. But then they turned to the drummer at the time and like, excuse me,
that's
sir. You seem to have...
Who was the drummer at the
We're
time?
not gonna. Well, we
Was
won't.
it copy?
Yeah,
No,
it
it
was,
was Junior.
yeah,
I
it
guess
was
we
like,
are gonna name names. All right.
Yeah, it was
yeah,
Junior.
it was like, you seem to have cocaine and methamphetamine residue on your identification. Would you like to tell us about that? And they started asking him the questions, and I was feeling pretty cool at that time. But they were looking for any reason to say no
So
to Decker
funny,
in
dude.
their
That's
country.
so
No
funny.
fucking way,
But he would still book Canadian dates knowing that Anal Blast couldn't get in.
Of course.
I don't know
But-
why he did that.
Because he'd get people to talk about the band. That
Yeah,
way.
you get people
Like,
talk about the band.
Oh, the act that's too explosive for Canada.
well, 'cause it's hard to get Canadians to
Didn't-
come here. Like,
Well, here's the thing, though. You can have it booked, and then when you get turned down, you can blame it on Canada.
Yeah.
And then
We
that
are
way
not
you can-
accepted by customs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
buddy.
can still look like you planned on playing that show.
Yeah.
Even though you knew you weren't going to get in there.
Yeah.
So,
He had a lot of fun tricks like that.
yep.
He sure did, man. If your band canceled off the thing and he knew that he could get people in there, he would not remove your name off of that flyer for nothing, dude.
Right.
I mean, it was so different. There was no Photoshop back then either.
No.
He was the master of fucking cut and paste when it came to flyers.
Oh,
dude.
I remember those old Day of Inhuman Suffering shows
Yeah.
where he'd have like 25, and back when he'd actually have like national acts come through.
Right.
Like he tried to explain to me once the old school touring circuits where it'd be like, oh, the Chicago scene would be here one night, and then the Ohio scene would be here another night, and you'd get all those bands on one show. I remember being 15, 16 years old thinking to myself, this is the coolest shit ever.
Right.
And it's kind of how I got hooked on it. It's just going like being able to catch the end of that Mirage era right when Don was getting his store was very important because
Oh, yeah.
without the internet, before the internet, it's like, how do you find out about this stuff? You know?
Right. Yeah, man. That
No,
was,
I mean, if you think about that, it's how is a little grind band from Minnesota known in like Australia
right.
back then?
Yeah.
Before Facebook and everything else.
Right.
It
Dude,
was
those
unheard of.
those tape trading days and trading
Yeah.
days at the Milwaukee Metal Fest. I remember it was like an epic. It was the mecca, for the Midwest. You would go to the Metal Fest and see all these great bands, and you would have boxes of shit to give away to
Yep.
people. You know what I mean?
Oh man, like my first Milwaukee Metal Fest with Pentagoria was like '99, and we worked with Decker. He helped us. He funded us pressing our first album. I think we pressed like 1,000 discs, something like that. And we were on a payment schedule, so we'd pay him an amount of money to give us a box of CDs. So I have a backpack full of Pentagoria CDs. I just walked around the whole weekend trading, and we were 5 Pillar Productions, so all of the CDs we were selling were at $5. So I was undercutting all the other distros, which didn't go over well with a lot of the distros when they found out I was doing it. But then I'm like, well, I don't really care because
Right.
I'm getting all of this trade merchandise, and I'm getting my distro name out there, and I'm getting the band name out there.
Right.
And yeah, I walked away with like $700 like by the end of the weekend, just selling CDs at $5 a pop, dude.
Right.
Nice.
It's crazy.
I remember pissing Jack Koshik off real bad because he was
shit, that was easy.
because he
Oh, boy.
he told Decker, these bands got to sell their tickets to play the show, and that the day of the show, I walk up and I'm fucking at the burrito shop selling tickets, and Jack Koshik walks over and he's like, "You can't fucking do that here." And I'm like, "Okay, no problem." So I went around the corner and down the block, and every metalhead that, "Hey, you guys got tickets?" "No, we don't have tickets." I made my money back plus some. I made like fucking $1,500 or $1,600 off of the tickets that I had selling them.
It wasn't hard to piss off Jack Koshik because he actually ran
To this day, though, man,
I still talk to him.
to this day,
Yeah?
he still respects me and still we'll have conversations on Facebook, which is so crazy. Him being as old as he is, you know what I mean? And I remember sleeping there with Decker and the sound guy. Remember the old sound guy that was
Fish?
Fish.
Yeah,
Fish.
We were
Dude,
talking about him
dude,
earlier.
we were upstairs doing blow with that dude.
Oh,
in
He had,
Koshik's
the,
house,
he, had
dude.
he had the classic Coke voice too,
Yeah.
where he always sounded like it was like he had just both of his nostrils
But he's
just
like a-
collapsed.
Yeah,
Kind of reminds me of from the first Star Wars, the prequel.
yeah.
He looks like that fucking
Oh, the guy with the
the
wings.
traitor. Yeah,
Yeah.
little that traitor dude.
Annie.
I'd
He
just like
looks
to
like
point
that
out that
dude.
Wes is wearing a Star Wars shirt
Yes. I am.
this evening.
Fuck yeah.
What is it?
Well, Decker loves Star Wars.
Yeah.
I love
Hey,
Star Wars.
So when I interviewed Rape Door, fucking Nicole Jean Road brought that fucking Darth Vader mask here.
Nice.
And it's all like used and shit. And she's like, "Yo, I just had it laying around here. You can have it." And I go, "Oh, that's going on the Decker fucking
yeah.
deal for sure,
Yep.
man." So it's been
Yeah.
on there ever since, man. It's just fucking.
Well, there's
had
pictures
the-
of him on that.
He had the whole
with
fucking helmet on and shit, man.
Yeah.
It was excellent.
Yeah, no, he was a huge Star Wars nut, and
Yeah, and
that was one thing I liked. I was friends with him too, and we'd
there used to be nothing better than going to all
Yeah.
day. Like we would go binge watch Lord of the Rings in the
Right.
movie theater
Yep.
in Woodbury, and we had the classic Decker. You'd buy a 20 ounce bottle of soda, you drink it down to the label, and then you fill it up with the alcohol of your choice to the
Yep.
top. And we would sneak those in the movie theaters and we'd get day drunk watching Lord of the Rings.
Sounds
Probably
about right.
once-
That's why me and him never got along, as I was always a Star Trek guy.
Decker was a big sci-fi fan in
He
general.
was too, though. He loved
That's
Star
it.
Trek too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the thing. He was big into sci-fi.
He was big into everything.
Yeah, that's true. Oh,
Didn't.
Well, fucking A, man. So what? Let's prop them shows up again. When does GhostHook playing again? you
April
said?
21st at Hexagon Bar with God Came from Outer Space. I think
TikTok is gonna
TikTok
be
and Malak. TikTok and Malak on
Yep.
TikTok's on there.
that.
Know
I think
that.
Malak's on that one
I'm
too.
actually really excited to see him again.
Yep.
And then we got May 5th.
That's a
at Club-
free show, and you
that's,
should go to that. The Hexagon show is free, and you
free.
should buy alcohol and
Also,
merch.
At
at
the
the
back-
Weepy
at the
Voice
bar, at
Killer.
the back bar.
The Weepy Voice Killer. Yeah.
You'll get a hangout where the Weepy Voice Killer stalked his prey.
Nice.
And May get some free popcorn.
There you go.
Also that.
Best in town.
But buy your drinks stage
back
side, not bar side, so that the profits go to the bands.
Thanks, Michelle.
And then May 5th, Club Underground. Yeah,
Club
Oh,
Under
Yeah,
Yes.
with Krog.
Glutton.
Krog and Glutton.
Person
Glutton
herder,
for
sick
punishment.
fuck,
Person
glutton for
herder.
punishment.
Yep.
and Sick Fuck.
We tried to do that in a
returning
round.
to Minnesota.
Fuck yeah.
after
with,
many
the
years.
first time with his wife on.
Yep.
Leslie.
On there,
I am
Leslie.
personally,
Loogie Lobber. Loogie Lobber.
I'm personally really excited for that show. Leslie is cool. I
Yeah,
haven't
super
met her
cool.
in
They are
person,
awesome.
but
She's really cool.
her talking to her on Facebook, she's like, because it's really hard to meet like other cool
Yeah.
metal chicks.
She's down there.
Genuine.
She's very very cool.
We are few and far between.
Absolutely.
like 1 in
Very true.
500 statistic on that shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's good shit.
Good
man,
for you on
sure.
knowing those numbers.
Hey, I made
I
a shit
tried.
reference while talking about Sick Fuck. Awesome.
With a bunch of guys that were
Easy
in
to
Anal
do.
Blast. Go
Yeah.
figure.
Poo grind.
Hey, this
Doo-doo butter.
Well, guys, I really appreciate you coming in and taking the time, and I appreciate you being patient with me to reschedule since you guys broke my back the first time, and then my
And your computer.
this time.
No problem.
yeah.
And it's always a pleasure to have you, any of you guys in here. Lucas the first time, and Jess the first time.
Thank you very much for having me, Greg.
Thank you,
Absolutely,
Greg.
man. Fuck yeah. So we've got one last song. We've got "The Last Laugh" by GhostHook. Yes.
Okay.
Nice.
A ballad I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Part of it.
Yeah.
Quote unquote ballad.
Ballad, power ballad.
And if anyone out there wants to go to Flameburger afterwards, we're totally doing that.
I'm going home, going to
I want to
bed.
eat a fucking burger.
Well, what did we learn this podcast, everybody?
Be more prepared with
Look
your
both
computer.
ways.
What did we learn?
Have Cards Against Humanity
We
for
learned
the
smoke
in-between.
A
lot of
mopey
weed.
zoo lion can turn into poor life choices, which can equivalent to penis
Or-
breath.
Nihilism and marijuana and metal are
It's
awesome.
a pity that kids
Yes.
these days are all getting involved with the wrath of Vladimir Putin.
Okay.
That's pretty
If you,
crazy.
if you combine those two cards, that's what you get.
That's what you get.
Wow.
Yeah, this is awesome. Yeah.
Thank you very much
thank
to
you.
everybody listening out there. Keep supporting the local scene. Keep supporting bands. Thank you for checking us out, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, make sure you get out to support GhostHook. They've got a lot of cool stuff, and each one of these guys are super, super talented. And I wanted to mention, man, that you guys have a great stage presence. Nowadays,
well, thank you, Greg.
It's one of those things where it's a lot of people just stand fucking still, and every one of you guys throw down on that stage, except for Larry. He's
Yeah.
he's sitting
Lucas
down on
doesn't-
the job, but.
Lucas
Well,
doesn't
here's
know
the
how to
thing
stand
with
still.
with that, I think we all try. We all put a lot of time and effort into this, and we like to show what we do, and we put a lot of time and work into playing these songs as well as we do, and doing what we can, because we definitely aren't getting any younger.
Ain't that the truth?
Well, we're here to kick ass. man.
yeah, we're here to
Yeah.
kick ass.
For
and-
what Nick lacks in hair whips these days, he makes up in faces.
Absolutely, the man
Definitely
of a million
does.
faces. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, the collection of Kolsicki
The Polish
face.
windmill.
Yeah, the
Is no longer.
Banging your head into the ground like an idiot keeps you young.
yeah,
absolutely,
I can
man.
grow my hair back.
And staying out of the sun and drinking Coca-Cola help too.
All right, folks, thank you again for tuning in. Don't forget to check out ritualmadnesspodcast.com. Episode 153 in the books with GhostHook. Check us out on iTunes and Stitcher, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Don't forget to download the Listen to My Radio app. That's LISTN, the number 2, My Radio. Search Ritual Madness Podcast. Bookmark that shit. If you shop Amazon, please click our Amazon link. Bookmark it as your own, and every time you buy something from Amazon, it helps us keep the podcast going. And if you're feeling like donating, please do that. There's a donation link as well. It goes right to our PayPal account. If you're in a band or you have friends that are in a band and want to submit your stuff to the podcast, please do. Ritual Madness Podcast at Gmail. And don't forget to check out the Root of All Evil radio show on KFAI's Fresh Air Radio and DOTW Pod, Disciples of the Watch podcast, and also the roar of whatever it is on KFAI as well. I'm sorry, Bill. I'm bad. I should have your name in here as well. But there's another metal show on KFAI, and Roar of the Underground is what it's called. And I appreciate everybody tuning in again. Fucking A, we're going to play some GhostHook and get the fuck out of here because it's late. And sorry about the late start. Blame it on GhostHook because they're jinx.
Stoned.
Black.
we will make your stuff not work.
The Black Cat of Metal. Thank you for tuning in. Peace out.
Ritual Madness Podcast. Ritual Madness Podcast.